Good afternoon. It's 3:01. I'm Joseph Bonanno, live from the 104.5 The Zone Circuit Sports at the Mid-Kentucky Downs Studios. Today, the Tennessee Titans announced that they will be holding a special event to celebrate the next chapter of the franchise on March 12th at 7:30 p.m. This is presumably has something to do with the recent talks behind the franchise's rebrand. Several top draft prospects spoke with the media today ahead of workouts at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Top prospects like Miami edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. and Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey said that they had formal interviews with the Titans while at the Combine. Tonight in college hoops, number 25 Vanderbilt hosting Georgia at 6 p.m. Number 7 Florida heads on the road to face off against Texas at 6 as well. Then the 8 o'clock games are number 17 Alabama hosting Mississippi State and number 20 Arkansas hosting Texas A&M. For your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Prince already with you on a beautiful day in the Music City. Happy Wednesday. It is Hump Day. Hump Day. Am I anywhere in the ballpark of what Slay can throw out there?
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's not Slay. Like, comparing yourself to Slay in terms of, like, the sound effects and the energy level of that stuff, it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, Slay's his own dog. That is for sure. But we try to hold it up as best we can, as we will do today. Babsy is celebrating her birthday. What is she, 26? Happy birthday, Babsy.
Happy birthday, Babsy.
She's out she wanted to say brunch at 1 o'clock, but we got some pushback on that. That brunch is not at 1 o'clock. So, like a late lunch with the girls, that's where she is. Slay Dog is in Charlotte in advance of some SEC basketball coming up tonight. Florida at Texas. Florida favored by 7.5. They are rolling. Georgia at Vanderbilt. Catch the basketball down at Memorial Gym. Vandy, a 7.5-point favorite in that game. Mississippi State at Alabama. Bama by 14.5. Texas A&M at number 20, Arkansas. Arkansas by 8.5. A lot of big spreads tonight. Not this one, but I don't know why you would watch this one unless you were an LSU or Ole Miss fan. LSU at Ole Miss favored by 2.5. You can watch us on live, YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
He is the executive producer of 3HL. That is F-Dog.
What up?
Sitting in today for a little while, Mark Mariani, Moonshine. What's up, big dog?
What's going on?
How are you going to try it?
Hump Day.
There you go.
Is that usually Slay's?
Oh, Slay nailed it.
Dang.
Slay knocks it out of the park. We're just sitting here. How are things at Solar?
Oh, my gosh, man.
You guys growing?
We are growing and grinding.
It's hot in there?
Wow. I mean, listen, if you're into, longevity, functionality, your body feeling good, if you're into being healthy and sweating and detoxing like we all need, I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, Solar, infrared mat Pilates down in Wedgwood, Houston is where you need to be. Who is this?
Slay Dogs
come check us out.
Slay Dogs in the feed. Where can they get you on Instagram? Again,
Solar
we need to grow that,
I know,
that
man.
number.
I know. All right, here it is. Get your phones out. Check us out on the gram. Slay, I expect you to be a follower already. It's SOLR, Solar, Matt Pilates. Come check it out. We got all the intro specials, but it's the best workout in town, man. It's catching fire. It's doing awesome.
I love it. I love all the social media stuff you guys have going on, and man, your wife's got that thing rolling. So
I know it's really fun.
It's a good deal. We'll get in
We've
there.
Been loving it.
Slay Dog is on the feed, so if you want to watch the show live, you can see Big Slay Dog before he gets the rest of his suit on. YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and Twitch.
Twitch, please.
Thank you, Zeph. What up, Slay?
What's up, Yoro? What's up, Moonshine?
What's up, my guy? Gosh, I miss you, dude. Feels
Yes, you
empty.
do, dog. I know, man. You never want me to be there when you're there. So
Where are you at in the world? Where are you at in the world right now? We need a location share from you these days.
I am in. Yeah, I'm gonna drop my location. I am in Charlotte right now.
Yes, sir.
knocking out SEC Network tonight. And then I'm back. I'm back in the building tomorrow.
Back in the building tomorrow. Babs will be back tomorrow, and I will be off. So there we go. So we'll all be here for a little while, at least on Friday. Let's start with Tennessee and Missouri last night. Missouri with the 73-69 win. Nobody in this room, I don't think, is surprised by that outcome. Tough place to play over there. Tennessee has been grinding, and it's, speaking of grind, it's such a grind in the SEC.
Yeah, that was the game that scared me. Coming into it, Missouri, knowing not only how good of a team they are, but what they were playing for. Like, it's one thing to, say to your teammates, "Hey, man, we gotta have the heightened sense of awareness and all want to and all of that." But you come in with a team that's literally fighting for their lives, for their NCAA lives. And that's what you had. That's all it came down to. Like, I thought Tennessee, that was one of the games that you walk away, and this is what I look for this Tennessee team. That was a game you walk away and you got your head held high. Yes, there's always things that you can do within a game to kind of help yourself out, like not turn it over 14 times. But in this situation, I thought the effort and I thought the fight and I thought the want to was there. So that was just, man, Missouri had to have that. They had no choice. They had to have that game.
A couple of things stood out. Obviously, T.O. Barrett. I'll get to him in just a second. But Tennessee's bench, Slay, 5.6 boards, 1 assist.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 turnovers.
Yep. All the guards like to turn the ball over. That didn't work. J.P. Estrella, you can tell he missed time. He's a rhythm-type player. And some of those shots that he was getting ready that he was trying to shoot, his feet wasn't under him. He had no balance. He was off. And like he wasn't even square to the basket when he was trying to get hook shots up and things of that nature. So that came back and bit him. But overall, then you have Jalen Carey, 10 rebounds, great impact, just couldn't score, couldn't put the ball in the hole. I joked at halftime, throwing it back to the commentators, and was like, "Dog, who do you think would do this first? You think Missouri will hit a three-pointer first, or you think Tennessee will make a layup first?" And that's where it was. And the latter didn't happen. And Missouri made three-pointers back to back to back that kind of separated them and took the momentum of the game and allowed them to go in and put the knife in it.
So what up with T.O. Barrett, man? 28 points, 12 of 17 from the floor. He wasn't a starter until recently. Man, that was a hell of a performance.
Yeah, great performance. Great performance by him. He answered the bell. He was thrust into the starting lineup about 6-7 games ago for Anthony Robinson. And the funny thing of it, Anthony Robinson came in and he was the one that hit 2 back-to-back threes. So they were in the game at the same time, and they both impacted it greatly. T.O. Barrett is a guy that drives hard right hand, and that's exactly what he did. He went right hand hard all night long. He flipped up a couple of shots that were luck, but that's a part of it. When things are going your way and the energy is right, you can get those shots. But for the main point, man, he was aggressive. He was going to the cup, and he went to the cup. He's not a jump shooter. Even though he did make 1 3, you'll live with that. But outside of that, man, he played a hell of a game, both ends of the floor, offense and defense.
Before we hit tonight's games that you guys will be dealing with at the SEC Network, the other 2 games last night, Kentucky got a big win. They needed it. Game was tight. It was tied with 8 minutes to go, but they pulled away at the end. And then Auburn just could never get the game within a couple of possessions. Oklahoma just kind of kept their arms at length with Auburn, and that was a tough loss for them.
Yeah, Auburn allowed Oklahoma to shoot the ball great again at home. They did that the last time they were at home in Norman, Oklahoma. And they did it again. I think they shot 68% from 3, if I ain't mistaken, some crazy number like that. So you ain't beating nobody like that. And they have guys that can put the ball in the hole. So that's Kentucky beat South Carolina. I think we all walked away thinking that Kentucky should have beat South Carolina. And I even had a couple of Kentucky friends texting me saying, "Yeah, that's right, we back." I said, Is this where we are? Like we're back off beating South Carolina? I'm with it, man.
I mean, I had to have it, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever momentum you need going into the tournament, man, you take that momentum. Absolutely.
Man, they've got such a tough stretch coming on. Slay checking in from Charlotte. You can catch them on the SEC Network tonight as there are a bunch of games going on in the SEC.
Whole lot of games.
Slay, last time we saw Vandy play, they were getting smacked around a little bit in the last 3 minutes of the game by the Vols. How do you think they answer tonight against Georgia? Because I'm itching. I'm just itching right here for just an absolute lock.
Yeah.
And I think we rattled the Beehive a little bit, and I think they come out firing tonight.
Yeah, I think they do too. I think Vandy knows what they got to do. They got to get back, but at the same time, you got Vanderbilt coming off 2 losses. Georgia coming off 2 wins, and Georgia with Wilkerson being back in the lineup, they've been shooting 50% from 3, and this is with guys that can attack from all over the floor. Cannon Catchings, Wilkerson, Smurf Millender, and Blue Kane, all in the starting lineup, all can attack open floor, shoot the 3 very well, and they got a monster in the paint, Santos Surreal, who can get it done. But the only thing that I like in this game, I do think Vanderbilt will win, but the only thing I like in this game is Georgia favored by 9.5. I would most definitely dive if it was a live grenade, anything. I would jump all over. I can't believe they're giving Georgia 9.5 points. Like, that's not an NCAA tournament team, and playing well right now. So, I mean, I may not know nothing, but I would take them points. And I think Vanderbilt will.
All the games are kind of like that tonight. I mean, Florida's going to beat Texas, I think, right? Mississippi State and Alabama. Bama should handle that one. Arkansas at home is tough. They get A&M. The one game that's probably going to be tight, I guess, is LSU and Ole Miss, and I don't think anybody cares outside those 2 fan bases.
Yeah, I mean, you can care a little bit so you can watch me, but other than that.
Oh, wow.
That's where it's laid on. That's where it's laid on.
Ain't no need. I mean, I will say, man, one of the teams is playing for their coaches' lives in Matt McMahon.
Yeah.
And then Chris Beard is trying to get his guys on course to where they should be. But yeah, you're right though. Those 2 teams are at the bottom of the barrel in the SEC. But Arkansas, Texas, and them ought to be a good matchup. Florida and Texas should be a good matchup. But I just think the war of attrition with Florida, it ain't nothing you can do with them, man. They just too big, too much length, too messy down low. When you look at what they can do as far as second line defenses, front line defenses, like this, it's a tough team, dog.
Yep. So SEC Network tonight, 6 o'clock, Georgia and Vandy. You guys have that one, and then LSU and Ole Miss, which will be the tight game, I think, 8 o'clock on the SEC Network. So Slay working all night long again, and then we'll be back in studio tomorrow. Be careful traveling. Have fun tonight. We'll be watching, brother.
That is correct. All right,
See you, brother.
Love y'all, dog.
Love you.
All right, my brother. All right, my brother.
Can we get a hump day on the way out? There he is. He's Ron Slay. Catch him on the SEC Network tonight. When we come back, we'll get into some of this combine talk, some of the draft talk, get Moonshine's perspective. Mark Mariani in studio, 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
I want to tell you about Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. Maybe you know you need replacement windows and doors. I'll tell you the place you need to go. That would be Pella. They are the best. A couple things I love about them. First of all, we had our windows and doors replaced by them in our rental property in our house. And lifetime warranties on their products. And then on top of it, they back up all their work with warranty as well. 10-year labor warranty, which is leading in the industry. And they have the staff in place to support you, the customer. And that's what I've found in working with Pella. They're the absolute best. My girl Brittany's taking care of us. And we love our new windows and doors, especially during that cold spell. And we could tell how nice it was that we actually had windows that worked. And for February, they're going to give you a deal, a Dawn deal. I get to do a different one every single month for you. So the Dawn deal for February, all you have to do is when you call them, you say, give me the Dawn deal, and they got you. It's a good one for February. Buy 3, get 1 free on windows, and no payments, no interest for 12 full months. Don't even have to pay off your stuff for a full year. Schedule your free consultation. Check out the Dawn deal. You can do it online at PellaNashville.com.
3HL 104.5 The Zone, Brent Doherty, Moonshine, Mark Mariani in studio.
What's up?
On this hump day. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Coming up at about 4:30, Stoney Keeley will be involved in the show in studio. At 4 o'clock, Coach Mack, a little under the weather. Rhett Bryan, executive producer of Titans Radio, will hop on. He is in Indianapolis at the Combine, as is Buck Rising and his crew, the Buck Rising Show 10 to 1, broadcasting live from Indianapolis at the Combine. And you can check out their shows. They had the head coach and the general manager on today.
Yes, they did.
I heard that Lucas Panzica put on like a bald hat, basically.
Yeah, he did.
For Saleh.
I think the whole crew, all three of them, Bert, Buck, and Lucas, all bought
They all did it.
ball caps. And I think only Lucas put it on for Saleh on the interview. But I know there was one show after he got hired where they all wore it.
Solid.
Bald men unite.
It was a joke, but now it's not a joke. When you see the mug shots from the coaching staff across the board,
Love it.
it is a very real thing.
A lot of former head coaches, too. So I'll talk with you about that here in just a second. Tune in as the Buck Rising Show broadcasts live from Indianapolis. Thanks to Wholesale Supply. They'll be there again tomorrow from 10 until 1. You can check them out there. What else is coming up today? Oh, Todd Furman at 4:20. So we'll talk with Todd about I would imagine, Moonshine, that the sports books did not do well with Team USA beating Canada. I would imagine, because, look, there are smart bets, and Todd preaches that. Take emotion out of it. But when you're talking about patriotism,
Yeah. Well,
you're not betting against Team USA.
I may have been one of those guys that woke up feeling patriotic and went after it, but it was only the money. The value wasn't great.
No, it was pretty much a pick 'em.
It was like a plus 100, and I was shocked, and I was like, man, they're suckering us right now.
Dude, and you're watching the game, and it's obvious that Canada is the better team. And you're just waiting for that goal because you knew if they got one goal, that was probably it.
Dude.
But Connor Hallebuck, unbelievable.
That photo is unreal. The whole game was unreal. Goldie, what's his name? Goldie?
Yeah.
Goldie's goal.
Oh, my gosh.
I hope that doesn't get forgotten in all this. I mean, that individual effort, going 1-on-2, flipping the puck in, and then beating
They don't go to overtime without that ridiculous.
That's our only
one-on-one
offense
play.
for 2.5 periods. Anyway, the whole thing was
Killing the 5-on-3 for a minute and a half.
Oh man, so true.
I still cannot believe that they were able to hold off Canada, that Canada team, on a 5v3 for a minute and a half. Like, you don't see that,
dude. I like couldn't sit, and then I tried to stand, and I like couldn't stand. I
Where
was
were you watching the game? Were you at the crib, or did you go to the bar?
No, I was at my house with my little man. I mean, I should have. I would have loved to have been with the boys, just absolutely taking a few down. It was kind of early, but I mean, dude, I was so nervous during that 5-on-3, 3-on-5.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, man. It was insane.
It was fun for sure. So we'll talk with Todd about that. What kind of hit did the sports books take there? Because every bet in this country was on Team USA. I mean, that's why they had to. I think that's why they had to make it plus 100. Because it shouldn't have been.
They were pulling at our emotions. The math didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It should have been farther apart, but they were just, anyway.
Titans, it looks like, going to unveil their logo at an event on March 12th at 7 o'clock. Have they said where that is, Zeph?
They did. Give me 1 second and I can get you the info.
Have you seen it, Mark?
I don't.
I mean, we're seeing like renderings. We have no idea what the actual logo.
I'll just say this: I'm very excited. New stadium, new colors.
You're
Savage
good with
president.
Change.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I will say the one thing that I loved is the flames. It looks like the flames are a thing of the past, and that's okay.
The flaming thumbtack.
But now we just have the Tennessee 3 stars. I think that's what they're going with.
The Tri-Star.
Tri-Star.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see how it shakes out. I am not privy to that information. I am way lower on the pay grade there. So I haven't seen anything more than the teasers they're putting out. They're doing a good job, but change is good. The colors look absolutely sick. I'm going to miss the Flames.
So they don't keep paying you over there just because they like you and like, hey, thanks for all you did for us.
Yeah, I tried to get a Bobby Bonilla deal going.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried, but man, nah, my allies over there have cut me off, man. No more paychecks.
Now Ohtani,
they treat me pretty good though.
Otani's going to have that deal that we're going to follow like years after he's retired.
Yeah.
Except his is a lot more than Bobby Bonilla's.
Yeah, he gets $60 million a year for 10 years.
They just gotta. I think after he's. I mean, there at some point there's got to be just like, hey, just here's 5% of the Dodgers, whatever. Here's a percentage of the team. You can't just pay. I mean, can you just pay whatever?
Just print money.
I guess they keep doing it.
Yeah.
Golly.
Combine going on this week. You asked during the break, when do they start on the field? Place kicker, defensive lineman, linebacker on the field on Thursday. Then on Friday, defensive backs and tight ends. Saturday, running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, skill position dudes.
Yeah.
And Sunday, offensive linemen. And then it wraps up. They have been doing team interviews, which Reuben Bain Jr. said he crushed his Titans interview.
Dude. Are we going to talk about this?
You better not say that publicly if you didn't do it. You know what I mean? You don't want the Titans sitting there seeing that quote going, really, dude?
If the in the room feeling was that it went poorly, you're like, oh man, this dude is way off. But golly, man, sitting at 4 has got me pretty jacked up with what's sitting in front of us. And Reuben Bain's out there saying that. I don't know. I mean, part of me hopes he's even available at 4, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, all 3 of these guys are absolute savages.
So if I gave you the choice of Arvell Reese, Reuben Bain Jr., or David Bailey,
that's not fair. I mean, I
read that is probably true is likely the draft board will fall where it needs to for the Titans to not have to make a decision, basically, like take the one guy that's left.
I mean, and that makes the most sense. But I think I'm very squarely on the team of we're making this pick and it's going to be one of these 3 guys. I think adding a piece, an edge rusher specifically, with what we have with Big Jeff going on is the most pivotal thing we can do at this pick. So. And I have been thinking about this all week, and I wake up and have different reasons that my position changes every single day. I'm always like Reuben Bain. I love the 275. I love that he's oversized in body weight and that we can slim down. When I think of these guys, I think of like a Micah Parsons versus a Myles Garrett comparison in purely in the sense of Myles Garrett's thicker. He's bigger, he weighs more, and all those things. Micah Parsons, a little bit more explosive or twitchy and kind of a different bend type of guy. Both of them are complete disruptors and absolutely change the game. But I think if I'm sitting here getting pressed as we sit here today, which it seems like the pressure's on, I'm taking Reuben Bain, dude. And here's why. I want to know. Here's what I want to know. I want to know, is Reuben Bain 275 and plays at 260? Like, can we get him in the door and get him like cut down and explosive? And does Arvell Reese and David Bailey, are they the opposite? Are they listing 250 and playing at 240? Do they have to struggle to keep weight on? All I want is somebody who's dominant and strong, because here's what the most important, in my opinion, the most important winning move on the edge is speed to power. You have to have speed to power out on the edge. It's the highest priority move you can make. It's the number 1 in the toolbox for anybody who's dominating the league in sacks, speed to power. And it seems to me like Arvell Reese and David Bailey have the speed, but do they have the power? Reuben Bain has the power. Does he have the speed? So when we go into this combine, if these guys are doing all the drills, I'm more interested in the 3-cone and some of the quick twitch stuff from these guys, because that's going to tell me a lot. And I know this is kind of a cop-out. It is a cop-out. But when I'm sitting in a meeting room with these guys, the foundation and the culture that they're trying so desperately to build around here, I want to know who loves this game. I want to know who wants to walk in the building and go to work every single day.
Yeah.
And I think I see that from a guy like David Bailey, who was at Stanford 2 years ago. And I mean, they all do, but I'm just saying that David Bailey part, he gets 1 year at Texas Tech. He's got his ceiling is through the roof. Nobody knows what another year of a program and weights would do to a guy like that. But I want to know who loves this game and is like hungry and salivating to get out on the field and to just dominate people.
Yeah, Bain Jr. with 88, I think, pressures, and David Bailey, I think, 85 this year, which are two of the highest numbers that have ever been measured since they've been doing those stats. To your point, Ruben Bain Jr. addressing the media today, and he was asked, what does he want teams to know about him outside of the tape?
To know about me? Shit, that I eat, sleep, and breathe football. That's all I do. I don't have no other hobbies, no other real interests outside of football. That's all I care for. That's all I want to do.
I mean, listen, that's all I want to hear. And I got to tell you guys, this is real. And you can go back, you can look at the numbers for all of the top edge rushers in the league. 250 to 270 or 275. That's 25 pounds when you're both 6'3". That's a big difference. This is a big, dense dude, man. He's strong
he's a
and
movable
powerful
piece too, right? You know,
yeah,
like
move him inside.
Well, Ruben Bain Jr. Talking about what makes him the best edge rusher in this class. F cut number 29.
Versatile, and I got a high motor. I can do it at any position, at any time, with the best effort. And it's on film. It's not something I'm just saying.
Why you feel like you're the best player in this class?
Just because of my mindset, how I prepare myself day in and day out, how I stay in the building at all times, how I'm working day in and day out, and being the player that I am.
I love it, dude. Is he going to be there for us, man? I don't know.
I think he will be. I don't know if this guy will be. David Bailey talking about exactly that. What makes him the best edge rusher in this class?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just a little bit more explosive. I think I have a great first step. I think I have a whole bunch of moves. And then also, I've been in different positions in terms of football play. Like I've played off the ball linebacker, dropping into the flat. So I think I have a diverse set of tools.
Listen,
some people talk about him being a stand-up 3-4 outside linebacker where Salah's going to run a 4-3. I know bases are different now and percentage of use is different, but I wonder about that part of it.
I'm very excited to go back to a 4-3. I'm very excited to see guys' hands in the ground more than, I think these guys grow into naturally rushing the passer on the edge, and then you bring them into an offense or a defense rather, where you're asking them to do a bunch of things that they've either not done or are not as comfortable doing. And I'm going to give you a great example. Another one I'm so jacked about is our guy Femi Oladipo. So I am excited to see his hand back in the ground with some good coaching and scheming. Because for the same reason, if you're drafting a David Bailey or an Arvell Reese type, I want to see them on the edge with their hand in the ground. I don't want to see them out in the flats covering. I want to see you disrupting the quarterback every single time. Can you imagine a big Jeff rush in the A gap combined with a guy that's coming around the edge that you have to be fearful of? I mean, this is the type of positional player, the D-end edge guy that takes over a game and makes everyone better on the field. And so I am very excited to see these guys that are trained day in and day out to rush the passer with their hand in the ground go back to being the guy that rushes the passer almost every snap with their hand in the ground. That's exciting to me.
615-737-1045. I want you to hear what Greg Cosell had to say about a guy we haven't really talked about yet, Arvell Reese, which initially people were like, the big question was, where do you put him? Is he an off-ball linebacker? Is he an edge guy? He said today he's an edge guy, and that's what he's telling teams. I'm an outside linebacker, edge guy, get after the quarterback. This is what Greg Cosell said about Arvell Reese to us.
Well, he's a freak show, first of all, and he's 20 years old. He's 20 years old, and he's 20. So he's probably going to get better. And again, now you get into where do you play him when you draft him? Because with people, it's always easy to say, well, he can play, here and he can play there and he can do this. That's all true. But the first day of whatever they call the first day, OTAs or mini, I don't know what they call everything now. But the first day, you gotta put him somewhere. So when you go out and you're in shorts and a t-shirt, and Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley and the the D-line coach and the linebacker coach, where are you putting him? I personally think that he's as close, and I don't want people to think I'm saying he's this guy right now, because he's a college player who hasn't played in the league yet. But watching him, the guy I thought of was Micah Parsons. So to me, I think he's a pass rusher. I think you get the most value out of him as a pass rusher. So I would line him up as an edge player. And he has the ability, certainly on third down, and then to move him around, just like the Cowboys and the Packers did with Micah Parsons. But I see him as that style of player. So that's what I would do.
What's the weakness or the knock on him?
To be honest with you, Dawn, I really didn't find one on the tape. I know that he's from a really bad neighborhood in Cleveland, so I don't know the kid, but I don't hear there's any real problems with him. So, that there's nothing, that you wouldn't draft him. In other words, there's nothing that would prevent you from drafting him. But I've done this a long time, and he's a total freak show just as an athlete. I mean, he's ridiculous.
Dude.
I mean, those three options, not a bad place to be at 4. You know what I mean? You're going to get one of those guys if you want one of those guys.
That's what I'm saying. And I just want to reiterate that that's all of this kind of like fits together. The puzzle makes sense. We're going back to a primary 4-3 defense. We want a guy on the edge to rush the passer. Please. I know and I respect, and I'm a huge fan of Harold Landry. But if that's the best guy we've had around here for the last 15 years on the edge, I want a guy that changes the game, right? And we have that on the interior of the defense. But if you have a guy to complement Big Jeff around the edge, it makes the safeties better. It makes corners better. It throws off the offense. This is a huge get. So now we're sitting at 4 with 3 of the top guys in the draft.
And Mendoza's going 1.
Exactly. And I'm just looking at it like, Bain's gone. Great. We got Arvell Reese. Reese is gone. Great. We got Bailey. It's like, dude, the only thing is, I want them, like Cosell just said, day 1 install, day 1 training camp, or maybe even all of first year. Here's what we're going to ask of you. Put your hand in the dirt and go get them. Pin your ears back. We're not going to have a bunch of calls where you're covering the flat and all these hybrid positions. We need an edge guy that scares people.
Arvell Reese talked with the media today too, and to kind of the discussion point that we're having now, he talked about where teams want him to play and his transition from linebacker to edge.
The team just pretty much been asking me what I wanted to do, just seeing where my mind was at.
What do you want to do?
Just be telling them I think I'm an outside linebacker, edge, intelligent.
How do you feel your game translates there, and how quickly do you think you could be an impact player outside?
I think I got a lot to get better at outside linebacker and edge as far as pass rushing and coverage, but I think I can adapt to it quick. I'm sure.
As far as teams being more multiple.
There you go. Arvell Reese.
Listen, man, the expectation is, different player, maybe. I'm trying to think of what Bosa's numbers are, but the expectation is Nick Bosa. You're not ever asking Nick Bosa to go in the flat and cover anybody. Maybe a player or two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what we're asking. This is the Robert Saleh defense, right? And before they had all those injuries, they were kicking butt and taking names with Fred Warner, whatever. You can dominate the game up front on the D-line, and we have the interior to do it. We need an edge guy that's pure pass rusher. We're talking double-digit sacks in 2026.
When we come back, Mike Borgonzi addressed the media today. It was also on Buck Rising show, but we've got some cuts where he's talking about a lot of the things we just talked about. We'll do that next. 3HL, Mark Mariani in studio, 104.5 The Zone. Up to Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. That's where you need to go to get that next new vehicle. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, SUV, or Jeep, new or pre-owned, they've got you covered. Maybe a Sprinter van, they've got those too. You can check out the inventory, new and pre-owned vehicles online at guptonmotors.com. All of the dealership information is there. Address, phone number, all of the ways that you need to find them or get in touch with them right there at guptonmotors.com. Also, the inventory, as I mentioned, all the deals they have going on in the month of February, right there, guptonmotors.com. Daniel Gupton and his crew ready to help you out. Just let them know what you're looking for, and they will point you in the right direction. Take your test drive, go inside. They will help make the numbers work, and it'll be that easy. Service department is incredible. After the point of sale, they'll let you know via text message when your car needs an oil change or tires balanced, rotated, whatever needs to be done. They'll let you know. They'll stay on top of it with you and for you. 3450 Tom Austin Highway in beautiful Springfield, Tennessee, about 30 minutes from downtown Nashville. That's Gupton Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Get on your health right now, guys and ladies. This is opportunities you've been waiting on. You need to head over to Synergix and Low T Center. Find out exactly what your levels are, your T levels, fellas and women. Hormone test normally it's $2.99, but you can get on there right now for $99. And since it's the beginning of the year, you can jump on it. And the weight loss consultation, that right there, that's free. You can walk in or book an appointment at getmyhealthfix.com. And understand, just like you guys out there, fellas, T levels, once you hit the age of about 40, things start to kind of taper off a little bit. You need to be able to stay on top of those. You're feeling tired at times. You're feeling like your energy not where it's supposed to be. You can't get up and go. Can't last as long in whatever way you may be thinking. Well, they got an opportunity for you to get back and get right. Testosterone replacement therapy at Synergix and Low T Center. Get in there, and I promise you, you will satisfy yourself. You walk past that mirror, you're like, yes, that's me. You're feeling better. Feet hit the ground. You're ready to roll. All you got to do is go to Synergix and Low T Center.
What begins? 3-10-1045 The Zone.
The rest is still unwritten.
I love this song. Y'all know me. I'm a very optimistic person. The lyrics in this song, Natasha Bedingfield. Moonshine in studio. Babs is celebrating her birthday.
Happy birthday, Babs! Let's go!
I just got a picture of the girls in the car. They're listening to the show. So shout out to Babs. Happy 26th birthday.
Dude, I cannot.
Really? I thought she was only 24.
I can't believe she's already 26. It's crazy.
Isn't it amazing?
It is.
Well, I had her,
the life we live.
I had her at 25 for 6 or 7 years, which you would appreciate that. But we had to graduate up to 26.
Okay.
Sling Dog is in Charlotte. He's got basketball tonight on the SEC
He's
Network.
not in the building. He's not in the building.
So he's got Georgia at Vanderbilt and then LSU Ole Miss coming up tonight on the SEC Network. And he'll be in and out of your television screen, so to speak. Rhett Bryan coming up at 4 o'clock in place of Coach Mack. He's a little under the weather, so shout out to Coach Mack. We're thinking about you, buddy. 3HL, Hump Day, 615-737-1045. Jay in Spring Hill is next up on 3HL. Jay, what's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Hey, on Buck's show this morning, they said it was Dawn's husband's birthday. So, anyway, kind of confused, but maybe it's both their birthday.
No, they definitely got it wrong.
Yeah, it's definitely her birthday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, as a Titans fan, I've been kind of curiosity factor on the potential uniform changes or helmet changes, logo and stuff. So, ironically, today I get a email from the Tennessee Titans. I guess it went to the season ticket holders about it said it's titled "A New Chapter Begins." But anyway, it's held March 12th at the Pinnacle at 7:30, and tomorrow they send you an email to link to get tickets. And I guess you can get 2, first come, first serve. But anyway, I guess we have the date. Now we got the time of when it actually happens.
Yep. So that'll be interesting. New day, that's for sure. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. So Buck thought that she took the day off for her husband's birthday. That would never happen.
Yeah,
I love Travis. I'm just saying.
Also,
this is definitely her day.
Also, I specifically put out on the 3HL Twitter that it was Dawn Davenport's birthday. So if they got that wrong, they did that on purpose.
I love the pictures you chose for the tweet, too.
I think Dawn did, too.
Yeah. It's a picture of her in New Orleans when we were in New Orleans, and she walked over to the guy. Guy was holding a sign that said huge ass. So she walked over, took the sign from him, and we took a picture of her.
And now that's what's on
Bourbon Street. So that's on her birthday thing. And then her looking, just gazing into the eyes of Bo Jackson at Radio Row, her favorite athlete of all time. She was number 34 at Auburn for volleyball because of Bo Jackson. And we got the chance to interview him at Radio Row. So
that is very cool.
And then the other one, we were in this hotel in San Francisco. It was built in 1923, this hotel. And so the elevators still are the elevators from way back whenever they were first put in. But they're big, but they're old, and there's a lot of detail. So they're really cool. But they had this red bench in the elevator. So she's like lying on the bench like George Costanza in Seinfeld when he was modeling in his underwear. But she was not in her underwear. She was fully clothed. But those are the 3 pictures.
Good choice. I love that. Good choice.
So Combine going on this week. You did not go to the Combine. You did your deal on a pro day.
Pro day. And
how much pressure did you feel on that day?
I felt an insane amount of pressure. I think when you're in that position,
it's like Eminem. You get one shot.
Yeah, and you have to perform because a lot of the guys, they're very selective of how they pick Combine invites, and you are fairly certain that if you get Combine selection, the percentage of getting drafted is very high. Yeah. And so when you don't, then you're on your pro days. Now you're with a larger group of people, and now there's a lot of tension in the air. So you got to perform, but it's also an opportunity. And there's guys that'll do their pro day and blow it out, crush it, blow it out of the water, and make a roster this year or get an opportunity because of it. And so guys are training like madmen all over the country for that one opportunity, man. Put it on paper. We got a lot of film. There's a lot of studs out there, but now You got to show it off, and all you're looking for is that door that's cracked just a little bit, that little bit of opportunity, that glaring beam of light coming through, and that little opportunity, and then you crack that thing open and knock it down, man. Just a little sliver of light.
It's so funny that you say that, because that's what I tell all the kids that come through here, like asking questions about this business. I'm like, the door cracks, kick it down.
Yeah, dude. That's all you're looking for. That's all you can do. Because here's the reality, and I know you guys and Titans Radio and Rhett and Coach Mack and everybody always talk about this, but the film is the most major job interview piece. The film tells a very, very lengthy tale about what you can do on the football field.
Eye in the sky don't lie.
The eye in the sky don't lie. Well, guess what? How many college football games are left for these guys? Zero. There's no more film to be had.
Right.
This is your shot now. Yeah. The executives are going to come out. The scouts are going to come out. So whether it's pro day or the big combine, I mean, you have a chance to prove yourself now. And there will be people that make a lot of money and lose a lot of money and gain an opportunity and lose an opportunity on these next, few weeks, few months. And so it's game on.
615-737-1045. Mike Borgonzi was on the Buck Rising show today. You can get that where you get your podcast. Also, 1045thezone.com, or find the 1045 The Zone YouTube page. Also had a press conference, and at that press conference, Mike Borgonzi, Titans general manager, talks about the how does he differentiate the three main edge guys, Bain, Bailey, and Reese.
Yeah, you're right. They bring a little bit of different flavor, all three of them. Sure. Bain is more of a big end power player that can kick down inside a little bit. Bailey has the speed off the edge, impressive. He's got some length. And then Arvell has played everywhere. He's played off the ball, he's played on the line of scrimmage. Another guy that has length. He's got some snap in his hips. So all three of those guys are impressive.
What does he think about Bain's formal interview with the Titans? Remember, Bain said today he crushed the interview with the Titans. What did Borgonzi say about that?
It was a great interaction, yeah. No, he did great. All three of those guys, really. It was really impressive. Just going through some of their tape from the season and the retention they have. They're all smart football players.
And then this is something you were talking about earlier, Mark. Mike Borgonzi talking about moving some of the linebackers to edge when they get to the NFL, talking about Arvell Reese, I guess.
Yeah, you have to have a vision for it. It's you take what they do best. In the case of Arvell, he's played off the ball, which was really good. And then he's played on the line of scrimmage, which was really good too. But usually, you'd prefer or you'd value higher, really, the pass rush. So if he can pass rush, you let him line up a line of scrimmage and pass rush.
I want to hit you with one more thing that happened yesterday. Robert Saleh talking with the media, and you brought this up earlier about Femi Oladejo. Can he put his hand in the ground, and where does he fit in this new system? Saleh was asked about that.
Yeah, with a young man like Femi, it wasn't that he was just being evaluated by 3-4 teams. We evaluated him as a 4-3 defensive end whose hand was in the ground, and for him, he's got all the talent in the world. He's got length, he's got speed, he's got pass rush ability, he plays with violence. He's a good football player. And, for him, it's just going to be transferring to getting your hand in the ground and going vertical every snap rather than having to think about coverages and all that. So, obviously, there's going to be a learning curve for him even in that role, and there's going to be a lot of coaching and a lot of work on his part to get himself better every single day. And I think he's got the mindset and the physical ability to do that.
I will say this. I have 104.5 on almost all the time, so I may have heard that before, but I did not. These are up at the combine. Do you guys have access to these guys every day? Saleh and Borgonzi and the whole crew?
They kind of make their rounds.
That is awesome.
So that's how Buck had both of those guys on today.
I haven't seen those. That's great.
Whereas Saleh addressed the media yesterday, Borgonzi addressed the media today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't know.
Can you imagine being Mike Borgonzi and say you love Ruben Bain, right? But now you have to put on a front and just be like, Yeah, I mean, they bring different characteristics, and I mean, I really love Reese and Bailey better. So, but
that's what I kept saying yesterday. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for these discussions about all three players because they're so different. You know what I mean?
But you have to be careful what you put out there, is what I'm saying too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you don't want to go, dang, like Cosell. You know, you don't want to go, dang, Arvell Reese is just a freak. He's different. He's only 20s. No weakness. If a GM says that, then you're like, all right, well, you showed your cards. Anyway, pretty wild. And I love, man, let's keep playing. You guys, we got to go to break, but I got to say this, man. I know that we only won 3 football games last year, or 4. 3. 4. 3. But I am so, call me a homer, I am so jacked of where Borgonzi and Sala and Dable and Bones and Gus Bradley are taking this organization, man. These interviews, they're just killer. I heard one about Cam the other day from Sala press conference. I mean, all of it is just fantastic stuff that's coming out of that building. And as a Titans, like literally bleeding from my veins, I am just, let's go, baby!
There he is. He's Mark Mariani. I knew that was coming. All right, when we come back, Rhett Bryan, executive producer of Titans Radio, is in Indianapolis at the Combine. He'll join us next. 3HL. February, a great time to rethink what's working and what's not. eSpaces.com will help you out. If your office is not helping you stay focused or grow, you're wasting time. It might be time for a change. It's time to check out eSpaces. eSpaces.com. They offer private offices, suites, meeting rooms designed for professionals who want a better workday. Flexible terms, premium amenities, and locations across Middle Tennessee make it easy to love where you work again. Find your perfect workspace at eSpaces.com. Redefining co-working with exceptional offices for every business. Private offices, team suites, meeting rooms that are fully equipped, 24/7 access, flexible terms, beautiful professional spaces that are move-in ready. Whether you're scaling up or just getting started, eSpaces can provide you with flexibility without compromise. Want to check them out? eSpaces.com. Tours available now. Reserve your space early. eSpaces.com. That's eSpaces.com.
Good afternoon. It's 4:03. Joseph Milano live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports to the Make Kentucky Down Studios. Several top draft prospects spoke with the media today ahead of workouts at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Top prospects like Miami edge rusher Reuben Bain and Texas Tech edge rusher David Bailey said that they already had formal interviews with the Titans while at the Combine. Tonight in college hoops, number 25 Vandy hosting Georgia at 6. Number 7 Florida heading on the road to face Texas also at 6. The 8 o'clock games, number 17 Alabama hosting Mississippi State and number 20 Arkansas hosting Texas A&M. For our foundation repair, waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Getting you through the rest of your day and drive home.
This is 3HL
with Brent Doherty,
Dawn Davenport, and Ron Slay.
3HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful day, afternoon in the Music City. It's Babsy's birthday. She's off. She's hanging out with the girls today. And I'm kind of nervous because she does have I have seen a picture where they were in an Uber with the radio station on. So shout out to Babs on her birthday. Happy 26th, Babsy. Slay Dog's in Charlotte. He'll be on the SEC Network tonight. Georgia at Vanderbilt, the early game. Then LSU Ole Miss, the late game. And you can see Slay Dog there. He'll be back tomorrow. The executive producer of 3HL is Zeph.
What up?
And Mark Mariani in studio. Good to see you.
Let's go.
Thanks for being here. Todd Furman coming up at 4:20, and then Stoney Keeley will be in studio, and we'll get down and nerdy with some Titan stuff with him, as we will right now. Rhett Bryan joins us from Indianapolis, the executive producer of Titans Radio. Rhett B, what's going on? How are you?
I'm great. It's good to phone in from lovely Indianapolis as the whole NFL has kind of converged on the city for the event of the week in another calendar year here. You know, we're two weeks from today out from new fiscal year, so free agency, and all these guys are getting their medical checks and start testing. So here we go.
What number of combines is this for you? Like 700?
No, it's not that high. Like, I didn't start going until just a handful of years ago. It's like combine 7 or 8 for me, something like that.
Okay.
But it's good to see, you know, the people that you trust and you like to see reporting on this stuff. You know, talking with Dane Brugler of The Athletic, the author of The Beast, is always a thrill and interesting to hear the stories he's gathered. And Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah, like all these guys and gals that you see covering the league and certainly the NFL draft process.
Where do you come down on the 3 players that we all keep talking about, Bain, Bailey, and Reese? 3 guys that have different skill sets for sure, and certainly an interesting draft process, I think, because of the differences of those 3 players. Also, the fact that the Titans, if Mendoza goes, number one, the Titans will get one of those guys if they want one of those guys. What do you think about this?
I like how you set it up. First of all, Mark Mariani, hello, sir.
I know, my guy. I was just thinking, you just listed off a lot of great people in this business. Well, they're saying the same thing on their local radio shows about Rhett Bryan.
How about that?
They're like, hey, I go to Combine and see my guy, one of the best in the business. My guy, Rhett Bryan, baby. I love you, dude. I miss you.
Mark Mariani, I love you too, brother. Miss you too. Where are you a Reuben Bain guy? That's what I've heard. Are you a Reuben Bain guy, Mark?
I am, but I was saying earlier that I wake up almost every day this week and feel okay about it. If you ask me today, I feel okay about any other 3. If you ask me right now, today, I want Reuben Bain, and I'll just say one thing and I'll let you have the floor. Most importantly, what I want is a hand in the dirt, go get the quarterback 90% of your snaps. We're not going to ask you to do a lot, outside of a conventional D lineman. I don't want to see a guy that's been specializing in pass rush go out and try to cover the flat or cover a tight end or be this hybrid that he's not. I just want a traditional pass rusher that absolutely gets to play with his hair on fire. And so today I love Reuben Bain.
Okay, that's a great answer. All right, so here's the thing. I'll start with Arvell Reese. Okay. Arvell Reese, there was a huge crowd around his podium today, as there should have been. He's going to be a top 5 pick more than likely, and he's going to test ridiculously well to show some of that film validation there. Here's the problem with Arvell Reese. I think, and talking to the national pundits that I've mentioned, there's a belief that he is a good linebacker who rushes the passer. He has a limited repertoire, and he doesn't have exactly a pass rush plan because he hasn't been asked to do as much of that. What do you have, 97 pass rush reps at Ohio State this last year? The upside in all of the physical attributes and the way he'll test, listen, it'll make you salivate. I get all that. So there's him. And you couldn't necessarily go wrong with that, but I think that's not what Mark Mariani's describing. So I'll start with him, and let's check that box. Now,
okay.
David Bailey. David Bailey is the guy that I have been in love with for months now. However, David Bailey has just blown up one great productive year. He didn't do as much at Stanford, but great with Texas Tech. And one of the reasons why he and those other defenders in that Texas Tech defense, like Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker, is because the big guy up front, Lee Hunter, has just eaten space. And Lee Hunter's a guy that's probably going to test pretty good this week too. But anyway, David Bailey improved in his run defense. He needs more refinement and development in his run defense. That's where it's going to get because all these guys have something to work on. Now, let me say this. I'm finishing with Ruben Bain because, and I like Ruben Bain, and I think once that little report came out about him having short arms, I think it really pissed him off, and he pinned his ears back. And in the college football playoffs, he was a man on fire.
Incredible.
Now, and listen, he and David Bailey have a motor that runs white hot. Now, Ruben Bain's thing, if you'll notice on him, he gets to the part of over pursuit at times and will let a guy slip out the back door. Now, with all that being said, I have kind of thought that if this is a pass rusher at number 4, just since Robert Saleh's introductory presser, he said a couple things that kind of got my attention. But what really got my attention was, because knowing that Robert Saleh's base defense is 4-3, what really got my attention was when Gus Bradley and Brian Dable did their pressers last week. And Gus Bradley says, we have kind of a vision that one of the pass rushers is the mainstay. He stays out there. He does his thing. The other one rushes on first and second down and then rotates inside. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like Ruben Bain to me.
Yeah.
Because Robert Saleh, he rotates guys in his front. And when you look, when he was head coach of the Jets, Quentin Williams is one of the mainstays there, and he's still only like 60% of the snaps in this. So he rotates guys in and out. Ruben Bain, long-winded answer, y'all, sounds like, in my opinion, right now, could change, is what they're thinking about at that 4 spot, if that's the direction they go.
I'm going to throw you a slight curveball here, Rhett.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you about a guy that we got to see a lot of film when you're watching Ruben Bain. A guy that had more sacks than Ruben Bain. A guy named Akeem Mesidor. And why is he getting not as much attention as Ruben Bain when you turn on the film and you look at the stats and you look at the height and weight and everything, very similar, but he's not really in the conversation?
I think in fairness to him, but you're right. Like, it's like, well, Ruben Bain. He's kind of like, oh, the other guy. He has a skill set that's similar. He has a build that's similar. I think the thing that, and listen, he may end up being a first-round pick. I don't know that he's way up in the top like everybody's talking about, unless he just blows it out of the water this week. The thing with Akeem Mesidor is you need to check the medicals on him. There's a foot issue there that I think he'll clearly have checked out this week. But he brings a game. There's no question. You saw both of those guys just making play after play after play. And I just think the Ruben Bain stuff from the higher ups I think they see more potential there than Akeem Messidor, and maybe that's unfair to Akeem Messidor. But, yeah, I mean, you're not taking Akeem Messidor at 4.
Yeah.
That's a great breakdown. Rhett Bryan with us on 3HL.
If there is a curveball coming, is there a position? What do you think is the biggest position of need that we not trading back? If they give us a curveball and don't take D-line, where would the Titans go?
Okay. I don't think there's a corner that you would take that high at 5 because you need cornerbacks. I think the highest DB right now as it stands is going to be Caleb Downs, but he's got by definition safety. And we're going to see how he tests in this. He's really good key and diagnose guy. Plays the football field like it's a chessboard kind of thing. But you want to talk about curveball? And I've been thinking about this all week.
Say it.
What if they don't take a receiver at 4? They don't take a pass rusher at 4. What if they take Jeremiah Love?
Yes, I knew it. I knew the buildup was coming. I knew it. And that's what I wanted you to say, Rhett
Some
Bryan.
say the most talented player in the draft. That dude is going to be a star in the NFL. He doesn't come off the field,
three down back.
Yep.
And people are careful to tell you, now listen, we're not saying he's Christian McCaffrey. We're not saying he's Jahmyr Gibbs. We're not saying, but think about, what he would add in value. Because now this goes back. Now you're talking about something that Robert Saleh said in his introductory presser that stood out like a sore thumb. We need to build things around Cam so that he does not have to be Superman 60 snaps a game. Well,
yeah.
Welcome, and let me introduce you to Jeremiah Love.
I love the Love idea.
Well, he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yep.
He has short area stuff that makes people miss, and he's got some great footwork in those areas. And he can wiggle and he can move and make you stuff. Now, let me lay this stat on you as to why, if you're going to go outside the normal topics of who people are saying positionally at 4, the Titans, 16% of the Titans' runs in 2025 were for no gain or for a loss.
Woo. Yeah, that's really bad.
You have got to change that. You've got to. You've got to help your quarterback to get into short and manageable. Because third and chains kills you. You saw how many times was it 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12?
All day.
It's impossible.
Whatever. Yeah.
And now
rookie quarterback.
That's kind of the cart before the horse because okay, well, what do we do to finish out this offensive line? Because that's something else you got to address. There's some stuff there you still got to work on. It's a work in progress. But Jeremiah Love, there are a lot of people think that he is the one blue chip prospect in this draft, and that in 3 or 4 years' time, he's a household name like the other people we mentioned.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's great.
Rhett Bryan checking in from Indianapolis. You get over to St. Elmo's yet?
Went last night. Fantastic as usual.
Yes, he did.
Best cocktail sauce in the world.
Oh, baby.
That'll
put hair on your chest. Right
It'll
there,
clear
boy.
out those sinuses, Rhett.
That horseradish, I need a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Let me tell you something, Mark Mariani. When we've all had like a brain freeze when you've had a milkshake too quick or ice cream or whatever. This is the opposite of that.
Nice.
This is the brain thaw. And you listen, unless you got like a cast iron stomach, you kind of wade into that thing. You don't dive in because you will have. You talk about show up with a sinus infection or head cold here. Brent's right. It'll clear it out.
I love it.
It will clear it out.
Next time we have you on, I can't wait to dive in. I know you love to dive into some of the like mid-round guys and find needles and haystacks and things like that.
Sure.
Like we asked, for example, we asked Sam Brookhouse yesterday for like another player, and he loves, and keep an eye on this guy, wide receiver Skylar Bell from UConn. He loves him.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to pick your brain about some of those dudes.
Oh my gosh. Hey man, one of my draft crushes that really started about, was it November the 15th, I think, Omar Cooper Jr. back of the end zone at Happy Valley against Penn State. I mean, Omar Cooper Jr., there's going to be a lot of people falling in love with him this week. who's going to be a really and that's no slight to Elijah Surratt, his counterpart.
That's right.
He's a good receiver too. There's great stories, and I'll be back on with you guys to talk about those. One of the greatest ones I've heard today was Xavier Harris, a defensive lineman for Ole Miss. At the podium today, he told the story about when he was an eighth grader. When he finished eighth grade, he was 5'8". He showed up for his freshman year in high school at 6'6".
Oh,
my growing
gosh. Wow. That's painful.
But, yeah, there's a linebacker at BYU, Jack Kelly, who was a world champion BMX bike rider, competitor at the age of 5 who decided to play football. Turns out he's pretty good at it. Guys, Keith Abney II at Arizona State, the cornerback. He was a world-class inline skater when he was a young kid. Like, there's some interesting stories.
Wow.
Love it. Rhett Bryan, executive producer, Titans Radio. He is covering the Combine, and appreciate you stepping in for Coach Mack. I know everybody's thinking about him. I'm just
yeah, man.
weather.
I got to get my guy. Got to get my guy well. Got to get my guy well.
I texted with him today. I said, "You need anything, man? I live downtown. I can get you anything you need." He said, "I just need time." So,
yep.
There you
I've
go.
been dropping care packages on his porch.
I love it. Thank you, Rhett.
Good to hear your voice, buddy.
All right.
Have a good week.
Great to talk to you, brother.
You too.
There he is. He's Rhett Bryan. When we come back, Todd Furman. Thanks for hopping in. Moonshine.
Yeah, guys, man. Have a great hump day. Have a great rest of the week, man. Miss you guys.
Follow the project. Solar on I know. On Instagram, SOLR.
If you want the best workout in town, luxury mat Pilates, come try us out, man, right there in Wedgwood, Houston.
Thanks,
Solar.
Sean. Good to see you, bro.
And that also includes my boys, Brent Doherty and Ron Slay. We going to get them in there. See, now it's on the radio. Now there's accountability. Now the fans are going to want to know. We'll do a live stream in the studio.
Yeah, that'll be great. just let me show off my flexibility.
Hey, that's how we're going to get followers, man.
I saw some.
And Zeph, you're coming too.
I saw some videos and stuff on social. I don't know if I can do it.
It's intense, man.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna be. I don't know if I can make it.
I love bragging about my wife, and so she's crushing over there. But I'm telling you, the one thing is, it's the best workout in town. There's not a better. It's so good. It's good in a lot of ways, but it's good for you. It's so great, man.
SOLR.
Can't you tell
on the socials? Yeah, I mean, look at you.
You look jacked over there.
It's like Slay bringing sexy back.
That's right. We're all trying to keep up with him, though.
Yeah.
Hey.
Todd Furman next, and Stoney Keeley will be in studio coming up. Stay tuned. 3HL. United Structural Systems, USSTN.com is the website. Tennessee hit hard by severe weather recently as communities across Tennessee continue working to rebuild from flooded homes and storm-damaged schools. USS is here to help. Since 1994, United Structural Systems has helped thousands of families and businesses restore their homes after foundation damage. Often the damage comes from the kinds of severe weather that Tennessee sees year after year. USS doesn't just fix structures. They help restore stability, safety, and peace of mind, especially for people recovering from storms, flooding, and shifting ground. Their community involvement, supporting local schools, neighborhoods, and organizations like Habitat for Humanity reflects their belief that rebuilding is about hope and rising again together. If you or someone you know is dealing with foundation issues, especially after severe weather, connect with a company committed to quality and communication. Visit quality and community and communication. Visit USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. And gain peace of mind with United Structural Systems Foundation Repair and Waterproofing Services. USSTN.com. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Going to talk more Titans football in just a little bit. Stoney Keeley in studio from Football and Other F Words. We do have some. We're going to get to Todd Furman right now, but before we do that, Zeph, you've got some breaking news.
Well, if you listen to this station, this should be no surprise as it has been brought up, but still a pretty big move for the Tennessee Titans, who are releasing starting center Lloyd Cushenberry, according to Ian Rappaport. They're moving on from their former big-ticket free agent, who they signed in 2024, to a 4-year, $50 million deal. Just 2 years ago, he was due $8 million this season. And with that, it carries a little over $9 million dead cap hit in 2026.
Where some of that cap room will be very beneficial. So, Lloyd Cushenberry out. Todd Furman in, our guy in Vegas. Todd, what does that do for the Titans win total for 2026?
It moves it 4.5 games. I mean, this may be the kind of move that they make personnel-wise that gets them to the Super Bowl. But no, all kidding aside, clearly the Titans have designs on reconfiguring the offensive line. You bring in an offensive-minded OC that's got a resume of sorts in Brian Dable. Robert Saleh probably going to be a little bit more hands-off in that department. So it's an interesting move. But this is a group that has kind of underachieved, dealt with a rash of injuries last year, and maybe they're able to start scratching the surface of some of the draft capital that they've used along that offensive front.
Todd, there's a lot of talk about the Titans taking Bain, Bailey, or Reese at number 4. Rhett Bryan just threw out an interesting, side-eye kind of thing. And he mentioned Jeremiah Love, and Stoney Keeley is sitting in studio. And Stoney, you said, I can bring up issues with all 3 of those guys, but not with Jeremiah Love, right?
Yeah, pretty safe prospect, pretty explosive guy. The tape is good. I don't have any questions or concerns about a guy like that.
3-down guy. Todd, does that move the needle at 4 if they go running back there?
I mean, Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, one of the best prospects offensively you're going to find. I mean, there's no glaring weakness in his game. Maybe he could be a little bit more polished as a pass catcher coming out of the backfield. But living out here in Las Vegas, went through with the Raiders last year. Watched them draft Ashton Genty with, a pick inside the top 10. And despite what Ashton Genty was able to do, if you don't have the offensive line, it doesn't matter how talented the running back is there. So the Titans, no doubt, a bevy of holes to try and fill. And I'm always going to try and make a case to pick up guys that make you better along that offensive or defensive line. If you can find an elite pass rusher, a cover corner, more so than a running back, even if it is clearly the best prospect at the position that we may have seen in the last couple of years, I think it's a luxury more than a need for a team like the Titans trying to rebuild some.
Zeph, real quick, you got another one?
The Titans, alongside Lloyd Cushenberry, also released safety Xavier Woods, who they signed last offseason, I believe, to just a 2-year deal, if I remember correctly.
Stoney, no surprise there.
No, not really. I actually forgot Xavier Woods was on this team.
There you go. Todd Furman. That sounds like a Todd Furman comment. Hey, do the sports books do anything with regard to the NFL draft money-wise?
It is a very, what I would call, illiquid market. Sports books know that professional bettors are going to get better information than they typically have at their disposal. So typically what will happen is it'll be a very low limit type offering, something that's more for talking points and a novelty than anything else. And if you want to feel like you have some insider information, all it takes is putting up $2,000 to make $1 on Fernando Mendoza to be the first pick off the draft at number 1. I think the draft really begins to start at the 2nd overall pick, where you have a number of marquee names that are there. A couple that you guys mentioned, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Reuben Bain Jr., all at various prices to figure out what direction the Jets will go. And then, of course, the big storyline, as it is every year, how many quarterbacks will end up going in the first round? Yeah. We know we're going to have one in Fernando Mendoza, and I think it's as simple as a yes-no prop on Ty Simpson, maybe going to the Steelers, a team trading up for whatever reason to try and buy into what we saw early in the year from the Alabama signal caller, more so than late in the season when he cleared to be hampered by some of those lower back injuries.
Certainly not more than 2, though.
I would be surprised if there were more than 2, especially when you look at the potential draft class that we could have in 2027, headlined by Arch Manning and a boatload of other very talented prospects that offer mobility, strong arms, and much more polished than what you're going to see in this class coming out. And I'd also make the case that maybe if you're a team that doesn't need a day 1 starter, if you like what you see and some of these guys throwing in shorts at the combine, maybe a Garrett Nussmeier falls into the 3rd round and he can start to scratch the surface of some of the upside that people thought when he was projected as a first-rounder going into last season at LSU.
Yeah, it's tough when you hide injuries and you deal with it all year, and everybody's like, why is your production down? What's going on here? And then you find out later.
It's the catch-22. You want to see toughness from these players. You want to see guys out there fighting through adversity, not making excuses for poor performance. But at the same time, you also don't want to see these guys getting dinged if they're playing through things that are clearly hampering what you're seeing on field. And it kind of puts everybody in the catch-22, and to a lesser extent, even what Arch Manning dealt with early in the year when there was speculation about a shoulder strain going into the Ohio State game. And then you started to see him look a little bit more comfortable as a runner and a thrower as you got deeper into SEC play. Of course, it's a little bit different with a player that returns to campus versus a guy that's going to have his livelihood determined on whether he gets drafted day 1, day 2, or maybe a lot deeper in the NFL draft.
Todd Furman with us, joins us on Wednesdays at 4:20 Central Time and talks through some of the sports betting angles and avenues. And Todd, you've taught us and you try to teach people beyond me and Slay with Slay's Casino to not think about betting with emotion, obviously, right? It's a little different deal when it's patriotism, though. And I'm curious, did they take a hit, sportsbooks and Vegas with the Olympics with the Team USA hockey team winning?
Given the start time for the game, I know it broke viewership records for a sporting event that was televised in that ridiculous time slot. The books that I spoke to out here, and I don't have the same level of contact as some of the national books that deal with higher volumes, said they were a little bit disappointed by the betting handle that they took, and it just didn't generate the kind of buzz. Sports books were filled up with folks that wanted to root for the red, white, and blue, but it didn't necessarily translate to betting handle. To your point, though, Brent, some books probably thrilled that people didn't come in and blindly bet Team USA or at a price tag right around even money. But what I think is always fascinating about games of this magnitude, and we'll see something similar when the World Cup takes center stage during the summer, as you look at the way the Team USA was being priced here domestically, right around minus 105, that minus 110 pick'em price tag, and then spoke to some of the Canadian sportsbook operators I know up there, where they had Team USA right around plus $1.10. So if you happen to find yourself living in a city like Detroit and you could drive right across the border, you probably could have picked up 15 cents on the dollar to try and bet Team USA in the gold medal game on Sunday, one where they were dominated for the better part of 40 minutes, but the scoreboard told a very different story, and that's all that matters.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because we talked about that with you last Wednesday, and I remember thinking during that third period, I'm like, if they could somehow get to overtime, Canada's the better team, but then all bets are off. And you talked about that 3-on-3 because I was like, well, I love 3-on-3 hockey. And you're like, well, do you want to decide a gold medal with 3-on-3 hockey? In that case, yes. And it worked.
I feel like I'm one of the guys in the minority that had no problem with the Olympics being decided 3-on-3. Would I have felt the same way if Team Canada won? The answer is yes. I think everybody knew the dynamic that was in play and what it was going to take. And if you're looking man for man, Team Canada much better suited to kind of play that wide open style of hockey. But at the same time, you saw them a little bit more willing to gamble with some of the star power that was out there in overtime. And a play that I'm sure if you put Cale Makar on a polygraph test would tell you he didn't make the smartest play, should have played it safe up and off the boards to try and get it out of harm's way. But Team USA, kind of the sum of all parts, greater than any individual piece. And, of course, we see those Herculean moments from Jack Hughes getting the game-winning goal in the championship game. And, of course, Quinn Hughes getting the game winner in the quarterfinals against Sweden. But all of it's made possible by Connor Hellebuck putting together arguably the best single-game goaltending performance you're ever going to see from someone donning the red, white, and blue. You look at the underlying metrics, and an average NHL goalie in that particular spot gives up more than 5 goals, and it could have easily been Canada winning that game 4 or 5-1 if Hellebuck doesn't play the best hockey that we've ever seen from a guy much maligned for not performing on the big stage in the NHL postseason.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. NHL resumes today. You got any picks today? Preds in action tomorrow?
Got a couple on the docket that are still in range. I actually like the Ducks here, Brent, right around plus $1.10 or better against Edmonton. There was speculation about Connor McDavid potentially sitting out, knowing that the Oilers will play 3 games in 4 days. But Coach Chris Knobloch pretty much saying that he's going to try and limit the minutes for his 2 superstars, which is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard from an NHL coach that borders on NBA load management. So if you're saying that going into the game, I think the Ducks getting at the services of Leo Carlsson back, who missed a lot of time time before the Olympic break. A very worthy underdog in that plus 110 range. The Vegas Kings game, this game has been bet up, and I despise kind of giving out games that's not the best price in market.
Right.
Minus 115, minus 120 is where it opened. We're now out to minus 60, and honestly, I don't think that number is steep enough. I make the game closer to minus $2 with all of the absences for Vegas. They're going to be down arguably their 5 best players, Noah Hannafin and Jack Eichel, of course, who are still partying after winning the gold medal, and the trio of Canadians in Mark Stone, Mitchell Marner, and Shea Theodore. None of those guys are going to be available, and without them in the mix, this is a bottom 3 roster in the league. So I think it's an opportunity to lay an aggressive price tag with the Kings, and I think the Kraken are somewhat live underdogs right around plus $1.45. Dallas, no Mikko Rantanen, was injured for Team Finland. No Radek Faksa, their fourth-line center, and Roope Hintz going to miss with illness. So a little bit of a depleted lineup in terms of the forward group for the Stars. I think the Kraken a live underdog plus $1.45.
There you go, Todd. What should the Preds do? Sitting there 10th in the West. I mean, they get themselves in position where they need roster overhaul, but they're still sniffing the playoffs. Like, what do you do if you're them?
If someone wants to overpay for any of these veterans on their roster, I think you have to kind of embrace all those calls. And while it's never popular to try and say, hey, look, to shop the services of Steven Stamkos, who's having a resurgent season, a first-line center, and Ryan O'Reilly, who has kind of been the embodiment of what this Preds team wants to be, Jonathan Marchessault, whose contract may be a little bit of an albatross as it goes on, or even a Michael Bunting, who we've seen perform at a higher level. I think you should answer all calls, and if a team wants to offer you prospects or draft capital, look, this Preds team isn't built to win the Stanley Cup right now. So if someone is going to overpay for any of these guys because they believe it'll improve their chances to win the Stanley Cup, I think the Preds have to be open and ready to do business with all 31 other NHL teams.
At Todd Furman on X, real quick, Tyler Reddick goes back-to-back, gets the win in Atlanta. Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas this weekend. What do you think?
Overwhelming favorites, 2 drivers. Shane Van Gisbergen is the road course ringer, with the term we'd used to use in the past, but he is the gold standard. That's why he's right around even money to dominate at COTA, the first road course of the season. Another driver that the casual NASCAR fan may not be familiar with, but he'll be a name to know going forward, Connor Zilic. Also very good at this particular discipline. We'll have some growing pains as he goes through the trials and tribulations as a teenager racing at NASCAR's top flight. But those are the only 2 guys to look at from a pre-week standpoint. The running joke, though, amongst NASCAR bettors and even NASCAR drivers themselves, these first 2 weeks at super speedways are great. Tyler Reddick, very worthy of earning those points, even with a race car that looked like it was better suited for the Demolition Derby than it was to cross the finish line first. A road course this weekend, but the real season in terms of determining who will be some of the drivers to watch and with overall speed and such won't happen until we get to Phoenix, a short track, in Las Vegas in the middle of March.
Love it, Todd. Thank you for the visit, man. Always great to hear your voice and your perspective. Thank you, man.
Always a pleasure, guys. Have a great rest of the day.
There he is, Todd Furman, at Todd Furman on X. When we come back, we'll dive in to some of these Titans bits of news and notes, combine going on. We'll discuss the draft in great detail with Stoney Keeley, football and other F words. And again, Titans have released 2 players, Lloyd Cushenberry, Xavier Woods, today. We'll talk about that next. 3HL, if you want in, 615-737-1045.
Guess what month it is? It's truck month, and that means from Two Rivers Ford, 0 money down, 0% financing, 0 payments for 90 days. If you've been thinking about getting a new truck, now is a perfect time. Only at Two Rivers Ford, though, do you also get 0 surprises and 0 pressure. They do things a little differently than most dealerships. For starters, non-commissioned salespeople, you've heard me talk about it a lot. Their salespeople are paid whether you buy a truck or not. They are just there to answer all your questions, give you all the test drives, and help you find out what you want and what you need and what you can afford. Check out the F-150. I got mine from Two Rivers Ford, I guess 2 years ago during Truck Month, and I'm in love with it. The Super Duty, the Maverick, the Ranger, they have a bunch of different trucks. Truck Month is all about you. And also with Two Rivers Ford, they have one of the best inventories of Ford trucks in the entire Southeast. So you can find a truck that you want. There's Ford Truck Month, and then there's Two Rivers Ford Truck Month. So get to the South's most trusted Ford dealer for the best prices of the year on the best-selling truck in America. It's Two Rivers Ford, local, honest, real, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Let's get a little taste of football and other F words, which is a great podcast with Zach Lyons, as Slay calls him, and Stoney Keeley, who's in studio right now. Stoney, what's up? How are you?
Happy to be here, Brent. First of all, happy birthday to Dawn.
Yes.
I hope she's getting to celebrate on a day that she deserves to be celebrated. So happy birthday to her. Feeling pretty good, ready to talk about this draft. You and Mark had a fantastic discussion breaking down these 3 edge rushers, and then I'm sitting in the car like I need to come in here and get ready for this show, but I can't leave Rhett Bryan on the line talking about Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese and all those guys. So I'm ready to weigh in, man. This is a conversation that's been weighing heavily on my mind lately.
Well, always love doing radio with you. Always appreciative that you can pop in, and very thankful. Always love picking your brain. Let's start here, though. The Titans have released a couple of players today. Center Lloyd Cushenberry, safety Xavier Woods. Any surprise there for you?
I'm very surprised about the Lloyd Cushenberry release because that was an area of the team that I felt they were heading in the right direction near the end of the 2025 campaign, and it's also a unit that really thrives off of continuity. It takes time for those guys to gel together. So much communication, so much benefit to playing together with the same 5 guys over and over that you start to see some promise there, and you think, okay, this is something we don't have to worry about this offseason. We can just run it back with at least 4 of these 5 guys, and maybe we can keep Kevin Zeitler from retiring, and then we've got our entire unit back. So that is one layer of it. But then there's another layer where this free agent class is pretty much Tyler Linderbaum or bust. And if you don't shell out the money to get him, and from what I've heard, it sounds like Baltimore is going to do their best to keep him. Yeah. I mean, this is a high-ticket free agent we're talking about here. Really good center, one of the best in the league. I'm not taking anything away from him, but you're talking about a roster that still has a lot of holes to fill. Now, all of a sudden, like you're talking about filling using premium resources, tons of cap space to go get a center. It's not the most prudent move, in my opinion. And in the draft, this is certainly not the class to need like a week 1 starting center, because I don't know that guy is in this class. So you have to be banking on, you know what, maybe you can bring Corey Levin back.
See, that's where I was going with that. So Corey Levin comes in for an injured Cushenberry. Do you think that they just saw, well, there's not as big a gap there as we thought?
Yeah.
So maybe save some money. If you do have to go with Levin, you can. I don't know. I don't know.
I think Corey Levin did a fantastic job when he stepped in and filled in for that role. And in fact, Lloyd Cushenberry, coming off the injury to start the season, if you take it back to August of 2025, I'm watching the preseason thinking, are we sure we want to rush Lloyd Cushenberry back because he hasn't played in so long? Like, Corey Levin's playing really well.
Achilles is tough
during the summer
on a big man.
Yeah,
you know?
so it's like I kind of felt
they
probably should have gone to Denver with Corey Levin as their starting center to begin with. And Cushenberry has been up and down as a Titan. I'm not trying to act as though, he's this stalwart of the position, they're foolish for releasing him. You better have a plan at that spot, because now you need a starter, and you hope Corey Levin can do it. Maybe this is the summer Jackson Slater kicks inside, and maybe he gets some reps at center, something like that.
Forgot about him.
Promising young player, but you need a starter now at a spot that you didn't need a starter before you let him go. So I would question the move, but we'll see how it plays out.
I think an important thing to note there is they released him with the designation that he failed a physical.
So Jim Wyatt was that part of the story. Yes, I forgot.
So I think that's an important designation there, is he is not the same center he was after that Achilles.
Okay, interesting.
So that is interesting.
So that's a big part of it. Speaking of Cushenberry, looking back at that 2024 where Rand Carthon went on the spending spree. Do you remember we talked about how much money he just gave in free agency? Looking back at some of this, it turned out pretty bad, unfortunately for him. Calvin Ridley.
That's the whole free agency thing. You're going to overpay, so you're going to hit and miss, and the misses are exaggerated.
So Calvin Ridley, who's been what he is, injured kind of up and down. Lloyd Cushenberry obviously had the big injury. Now he's been cut. L'Jarius Sneed trade. We know what L'Jarius Sneed has been or has not been really for the Titans. Tony Pollard is probably the best thing out of this signing class. Sebastian Joseph Day, who's been pretty solid too. Kenneth Murray, out after a year. Chidobe Awuzie, never really played, out after a year. Sadiq Charles, retired, remember, before the season started, never even played a snap. Tyler Boyd, huge failure. And Leroy Watson, who they traded for, didn't play worth anything meaningful. So you can see why this roster is where it is with how some of their decisions have turned out.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's going to be interesting. Like, we're all talking about the draft, but the free agency element of what's going on over there with so much cap room and Mike Borgonzi now calling the shots, and it's clear because they identified that publicly, job responsibilities. This is going to be an interesting element to this offseason, too, free agency with this team.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think, like, the market kind of aligns with their needs in some spots. Like, I think this is a really good free agent edge class. I think there are some intriguing options at guard where, as it stands right now, they need a right guard. They need a starting right guard.
They do.
So that's interesting. I think there are a couple of receivers that have piqued my interest. They need that. Corners, a good class. So the draft is on down the road, but I think it's entirely possible that they can kind of patch this roster up pretty adequately in free agency, based on who wants to come be a Titan and can they make the money work and all that goes into it.
You do so much film study. Do you think it's possible to move J.C. Latham to right guard?
I think I've had some really interesting conversations with people about J.C. Latham because I think he's a very polarizing player because I think the fan reaction that I've seen has either been, well, he's awful, he can't play tackle, you've got to move him to right guard, or it's been, no, he's perfectly fine. Like, there's no real in between.
Let him grow. Yeah.
So I think he could kick inside to guard, and he would be just fine. But the people I've talked to about him have said you just don't see many tackles built like he is, as big as he is, as powerful as he is, that can move as well as he does. It's just the fact that he was drafted 7th overall and he hasn't exactly lived up to that caliber of billing just yet. But the talent is still there. And I think when you talk about the state of O-line play in college today, a lot of these guys are not NFL ready. And so you've got a guy already in-house 2 years as a pro that is getting better. Get him healthy. I get he hasn't been available for the whole time he's been a pro.
And when he came back, who knows what he was dealing with last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, give him another season to get better, and you're better off with that guy who has the rare size and power combo than you are dipping into the draft to try and get a guy that might still take 2 to 3 years to develop. So I'm of the opinion that J.C. Latham would be fine at right guard, but he's a right tackle, and you've got to give him the opportunity to tell you point blank he's not a right tackle before you move him.
Easton Freeze with this nugget. The Titans saved $3.8 million on the Cushenberry cut with only $1 million dead cap in 2026. More Titans talk. We'll get into the draft with Stoney Keeley when we come back. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? Listen up, man. Your back's been out there barking. You need to go tell it to stop barking. But if your neck's stiff, your hips feel a little tight, like you just been sitting for too long, probably got a desk job or something like that where you can't get active, it happens to the best of us. It's time to slay that pain, people. You need to go to the Joint Chiropractic of Middle Tennessee. They got 17 locations for you to choose from, so they're open all day, evenings and weekend. And I'm going to be honest, man, I went in, and it's never really a wait. You can do an appointment only if you want to, but there's no appointment needed. That's what you got to understand. No insurance, no worries. You just walk in. Like I said, no appointment needed. And new patients, get this. You're getting the consultation, the exam, and adjustment for $29. And after that, adjustments as low as $18. That right there, easy finish. Headaches, back pain, neck pain, whatever slowing you down, The Joint's got your back. Literally, go to thejoint.com to find your spot. Get in, get adjusted, and get back to living.
Good afternoon. It's 5:02. I'm Joseph Bonanno, live from the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports of the Make Kentucky Down Studios. Big news in the world of the Tennessee Titans as the team announced a little while ago that they are releasing starting center Lloyd Cushenberry via a failed physical, and safety Xavier Woods. Several top draft prospects spoke with the media today ahead of workouts at the NFL Combine in Indy. Top prospects like Miami edge rusher Reuben Bain Jr. and Texas edge rusher David Bailey said they had formal interviews with the Titans while in Indy. Tonight in college hoops, number 25 Vandy hosting Georgia at 6 o'clock. Number 7 heads on the road to face Texas at the same time. At 8 o'clock, the games are number 17 Alabama hosting Mississippi State and number 20 Arkansas hosting A&M. For your foundation repair waterproofing needs, you need to visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Balls. This is 104.5 The Zone.
HL 104.5 The Zone. Brent Doherty with you on a beautiful evening in the Music City. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Babsy's birthday is today, so she is out running around town somewhere. I don't know.
Man, there are worse places to be than out running around town.
She's got her 3 best girlfriends with her, and so that's all she needs today. So happy birthday, Babsy. And she'll be back in tomorrow, as will Ron Slay. He's in Charlotte today. And tonight, coming up tonight, Georgia at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, a 7.5-point favorite. That is on the SEC Network at 6 o'clock over at Memorial Gym. And at 8 o'clock, LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss favored by 1.5. Those are the 2 games on the SEC Network tonight. You can catch Slay right there. Number 7, Florida at Texas. Florida by 7.5. Mississippi State at Alabama. Bama by 14.5. Texas A&M at Arkansas. Arkansas by 7.5. Those are the games going on tonight. The executive producer of 3HL is Zeph.
What up?
What up, Zeph Dog? And Stoney Keeley in studio talking Titans football.
Happy to be here. Here we go. There it is. I never get tired of hearing this. And that's the Jackson Slater reaction to his being drafted. We might get another reaction clip this summer.
You know what's funny about Jackson Slater? You told me before the draft that you love that dude.
Yeah, he's awesome tape. Awesome tape.
And so when they released Lloyd Cushenberry today, I forgot about him until you brought him up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought he might be their answer at right guard because he played that last game of the season, and I thought, and he looked pretty good out there.
What did you think about his film that last game?
Man, I thought – I didn't think he looked like a rookie. Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of thought he was ready for the moment. His anchor was good. You talk about like the punch, the wide feet. Like I don't recall off the top of my head him losing any reps. So I'm, and I get it. That was like a 41-6 ball game. I don't know how much of the full juice the Jags gave it, but in that spot,
right.
Like he did everything you could ask a rookie to do, coming from that level of competition, Sacramento State to the NFL.
Stoney, a lot of talk about the combine, which leads to a lot of talk about the draft and the players. The first day on the field is Thursday, and then Saturday is quarterback, wide receiver, running back. So that's a day that a lot of people pay attention to. A lot of people down here paying attention to edge rushers. I asked Mark Mariani today, and we spent a lot of time yesterday. We'll continue to spend a lot of time on these 3 dudes because I think it's a really interesting situation with Bain, Bailey, and Reese because they are explosive players, all of them, but they're all different. And so I keep thinking and saying, like, this would be an incredible year to be a fly on the wall and listen to the Titans brass talk about these guys like in a candid moment.
Yeah.
To see what they have to say. What do you think about those 3 players?
And you ain't kidding about this being one of those fly-on-the-wall conversations. Yeah. And I don't envy the Titans brass at all for having to make this decision because
they might not have to, though. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like, there might
draft,
be one of the 3, and then it just kind of falls to you that way.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of choosing your flavor. Like, what do you want? Are you comfortable adding some upside? Maybe you don't need a guy that's the impact right away because – I think Arvell Reese might have the highest ceiling of any of these guys. So can you take that on, and are you willing to kind of take your lumps as he learns to get acclimated to the NFL level, kind of figures out what he is? I think he needs to add a little bit to his frame, maybe a little more muscle. So, like, can you be patient while he goes through that process? If so, he's probably your guy. Do you want the powerful rusher?
Before you go on, this is what Cosell said to start on Arvell Reese.
Well, he's a freak show, first of all.
There you go. I mean,
it is.
He went on to say, like, Dawn asked him, what do you see on film? What are the weaknesses? And he paused for like 3 seconds and then said, there are no weaknesses on film.
I got
which
a couple.
I've never had, which is why I want to bring that up. I've never heard him say that.
Yeah.
What do you see with Arvell Reese?
So I think
because we've been trying to figure out where he's going to go. I know where he wants to go, which is outside linebacker, edge rusher. That's where he's selling teams.
There are a couple of things that really kind of bug me about Arvell Reese that make me think he's got a longer ways to go than I think the way people are discussing him right now. Look at the production. He just had 6.5 sacks on the season, 6.5 in the first 8 games, 0 in the final 6 games. And I think there's an issue with him. You start to look at why that happens, right? We're not just going to box score scout and say, oh, he didn't have any sacks at the end of the season. We're going to look at why that didn't happen, because I believe in context and nuance. Mm-hmm. And so you dig into the tape, and I think that's where I have questions about the frame, because he's got great length. I think he's explosive. He is a twitchy athlete, but there are instances where the lighter frame kind of shows up in his inability to finish pass rush reps. Now, I just want to say he's explosive. He is like a tidal wave, and he's a guy that really accelerates into contact and fires his hands. Like he's a hurricane. But there's a second part of that process where if that initial pop doesn't work, you've got to be able to keep your feet moving.
He gets washed out.
And drive. Yeah. And I think it's the sample size of reps where he is truly hand in the dirt, one-on-one with an offensive tackle, rushing the passer, that make it kind of difficult, where you have to project based on the athleticism. Because another thing that I don't see a whole lot of people talking about, watching his tape, and I haven't watched all of it, there's still a couple of games of his that I want to go and watch, but from what I've seen so far, there's a lot of his pressures that are coming when he is a linebacker, like walking up to the line of scrimmage, blitzing. Blitzing. And that's not a true hand in the dirt, one-on-one with an offensive tackle kind of pass rush rep to me. There's also instances where Matt Patricia will put 2 rushers on 1 tackle. So you see somebody that's like head up right on the tackle, and then Arvell Reese is out wide. So you kind of isolate that matchup where that tackle, when the ball snapped, suddenly he's got to choose, like, who am I going to block?
Yeah, and you're taught to block down, right? So then Arvell Reese is left, and then the running back has him, and he can win that battle.
And it looks like this monstrous rep for Arvell Reese, but it's really kind of schemed up from Matt Patricia. Now, I think in those situations, I don't have any question about his power going up against running backs and tight ends, because he's an enforcer in that regard. And I think some of the coverage critiques are a little overblown. I think he's perfectly capable of tracking crossing routes in front of him, tracking stuff to the flat. You can't throw to the flat on Arvell Reese. And that's another thing, an aspect of his game that I think is underrated. So for me, it's like, okay, I've seen him blow up the running back in pass protection. I've seen him knock the tight end around. I've seen him blitz and, knock back the interior O-line guys. But there's not a lot of reps of him just lining up, hand in the dirt, one-on-one with an offensive tackle and driving the guy back. And that's where I think, you know what, he's a super talented guy. I think he's, as far as the edge class, I think he's got the highest ceiling of anybody in the class. If you can maybe bulk him up a little bit and maybe teach him a few more pass rush moves, get some weight on his frame, give him some more power moves, that's his path. But I think for immediate success, to me, he's an off-ball linebacker while you develop pass rush skills. So, and like the thing is, the Titans could use that guy too. So,
but at 4 though,
at 4, that's the question. So
then David Bailey, pass rusher. You know what he is. He's a stand-up outside linebacker. In a 3-4 scheme is what I hear with him.
Yeah.
And his job to go after the quarterback. But does he fit in the 4-3 that Saleh's going to bring?
Yeah, I think he can, because I heard Coach Mack, I think it was on Cover 2, kind of describing this front of Robert Saleh's as, well, you're going to have a guy that's a 5 tech that's lined up directly over the tackle. You're going to have a 3 tech, which is outside the guard's shoulder, shade, which is your nose tackle on one side of the center, and then the other guy is going to be a wide 9 rusher in this alignment. So it's not like 2 guys lined up directly over the tackle. I think David Bailey could play that wide 9 spot where you're going to line him up out wide and he's just going to tee off on the quarterback. So it's not like I don't consider him to be this misfit in the system. I think he could play that spot. For me, Bailey is probably the safest of the 3 because he's got the pass rush toolkit. He's a guy that just flat out knows how to rush the passer. I mean, 14.5 sacks last season. He had 3 games the entire season when he didn't have at least half a sack.
I noticed that.
So the production's there. He's got the moves, the counters. He's got a gnarly inside spin move. I think the question about him, a lot of people question the flexibility, the ankle flexion, hip, knee bend, hip sink, those sorts of things. But I think it's the question's not really framed properly in that regard, because I see plenty of reps where he can hit a move on a guy, sink his hips, keep his feet moving, and then bam, he's turned the corner. There's a lane at the quarterback and he accelerates. So the question is not so much about his bend and his ability to sink his hips and rotate, turn the corner, that sort of thing. It's more of the frame, kind of like we were talking about with Arvell Reese. It's like he gets into his rush, really explosive first step, straight line speed. He's got some power in his hands, but the frame is a little light. And sometimes you see an offensive tackle just get that hand out and just jab him in the chest. And when they do, he kind of gets a little upright. And when you think about how that looks in a pass rush, well, it's all of a sudden, oh, well, he's running upright. He can't sink his hips, bend his knees, that sort of thing. But I don't know that it's actually because he's incapable of doing that. I think it's more about the frame and it's about the weight and an offensive tackle's ability to kind of get their hands on him, stand him up, and neutralize him. So you see that show up on some pass rush reps, but you also see it in the run game when teams kind of are content to take their tackle out there. If they've got a guy like Utah game is a great example where they've got 2 guys that might be first-round picks on each side of their offensive line. So they just get out there, stand up David Bailey, and run right at him. There's a play. Yep. There's a play in that Utah game. And I do think David Bailey's better in run defense than he's given credit for, but it's more through technique, like dropping the pad level, getting the feet wide to kind of create that wedge on the end to set the edge. I don't think he's a pure power run defender, but there's a play in that Utah game where it's 4th and 1. They decide with their 2 future first-round pick offensive tackles, Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu, they're going to go out there, they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. David Bailey is not on the field for that rep. So what does that tell you? The way they were looking at him. I think it's a valid criticism, but if you've got a guy that you just want to line up wide, pin his ears back, and get after the quarterback, David Bailey is probably the safest edge rush prospect in this draft.
So it's funny that you mention the potential worries about his bend and flexibility. When he met with the media today, Teron Davenport put this out, but he told reporters that he was doing every test except the short shuttle, which is a test that really tests that flexibility and that lower half bend.
That's what Mark said he wanted to see from all 3 of these guys.
Yeah.
And he's not. That's the one thing that he's not doing.
It's not a great look. I mean, to be honest, if that's the biggest question mark that some teams have about you is your bend, your flexibility, and your run defense. Well, it doesn't really help you to go out there and ignore one of the drills that really highlights agility and change of direction, bend, that sort of thing. But I do think there are other drills that kind of capture that as well. Like, I don't know if I don't know exactly what all the edge rushers are going to be running, but like, the 3-cone drill is going to show that. I know like the linebackers do the wave drill and stuff like that. I want to see the totality of what he does not run before I accuse him of, backing down or anything.
I think that's fair. I'm going to ask you about Bain when we come back. Also, I'm going to pose the question that we posed to Rhett Bryan earlier. If it's not one of these three, who would be a guy at 4 that you could defend that pick the best? We'll talk about that next. Stoney Keeley in studio talking Titans football, draft, combine, 3HL 104.5 The Zone. 3HL 104.5 The Zone. Happy birthday, Babsy. This is her favorite Twitter follow that follows her. Vanilla Ice.
Is that right?
Yeah.
She got the follow from Vanilla Ice?
She loves it.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be on my resume there.
Stoney Keeley in studio. Babs with the day off. She's with the girls having fun for her birthday. Slay Dog doing some great things in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's actually on Feinbaum right now. Is that true?
That is true.
Slay Dog, superstar.
As long as
love it.
Feinbaum's still going on, or his segment's still going on. He tweeted it about 7 minutes ago.
It's
so
incredible how talented that dude is, man.
And this feels like the vibes are good today, man. We are lifting people up today. It's Don's birthday. Slay's out there doing the thing. You and me are talking about NFL draft prospects. It's it's a great day to be alive.
That is true. We do have a giveaway coming up. Athletes Unlimited coming up this segment. So stay tuned for that. And I was looking for Charles Pulliam and Garth Bolden are going to be on tonight. High School Power Hour live from 8 until 9 p.m. Two-time state wrestling champion Brody Melzoni of Nolensville will be featured after his weekend win. He's headed to Davidson to wrestle. Plus, you'll hear from Father Ryan's Kate Fielding. She hit a game winner last night to advance in the state tournament. And Kirkwood coach John Stigall, who has led the Cobras to 2 district titles in the past 3 years. State wrestling is wrapped up, postseason hoops and spring sports underway. That is the High School Power Hour coming up live tonight on 104.5 The Zone from 8 until 9 p.m. All right, you did a deep dive into Reese. You did a deep dive into Bailey. Let's do a deep dive into Bain, and then I'm going to ask you if it's not one of those 3 guys at 4.
Okay.
Are there a couple of guys that you like there? But let's focus in on Reuben Bain Jr. because he's a different element. He's a different piece. We saw what he did in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
He's able to slide inside. The short arm thing is out there. We'll figure out if he measures less than 31 inches. That's an issue with a lot of people. What do you think about Reuben Bain Jr.?
Yeah, so I don't know if you're a big Bone Crusher fan, Brent, but I get the same feeling watching Reuben Bain's tape that I get when I listen to Never Scared by Bone Crusher. I'm just ready to run through a brick wall. So at his best, I think you can look at his best tape and say this could be the best player in the draft. I have no qualms with that. This is a powerful guy, plays with violence in his hands. And sturdy base, good pad level. Like, I think the lack of length, the perceived lack of length can actually work in a player's favor sometimes because this dude has the pad level advantage on most snaps. He doesn't come off the field. He's an Iron Man. Like, he plays as much as Miami needs him to. And I think he's got moves, man. He's got a good cross swipe. He can cross inside, swim move, speed to power. We heard Mark talk about that earlier. Bain's got it like a cannonball through your chest. Like, he can sit you down. And I think his play recognition is underrated against the run. He can flatten a lead blocker. He can blow up a screen. He has the strength to run through the contact, and he has that inside-out defensive line edge versatility. You talk about lining up at multiple spots, especially in Robert Saleh's defense. This could be a pretty tantalizing ad for next to Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat. So I get it. I get the love for Reuben Bain, but I think there's a massive hole in his resume.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
You will not hear me criticize the arm length, the measurables. You know, could he stand to maybe firm up a little bit? Yeah, I think he looks a little doughy around the waist, but it works for him, you know? Like, the tape don't lie. He's still out there winning the matchups, but you won't hear me talk about the measurables with him. What kind of concerns me is how his rush stalls and spells when he doesn't counter, doesn't shed blocks, doesn't use his hands to shed blocks. His feet are relentless. He keeps those things going at all times, but sometimes I'd like to see him kind of counter and bat a guy's hands down a little more consistently. But there's a spell of the season where he just disappeared. So he had 9.5 sacks on the season. Mm-hmm. 1.5 of those in the first 2 games, 7.5 of those in the last 7 games. And you have to remember, Miami went on that run through the playoffs. They stacked like 5 games or whatever on top of their regular season. But there's a period between September 6th and November 8th that he had 1/2 of a sack. 2 months, 6 games he played with half of a sack. That, to something I said earlier, if you're looking through the box scores, that's kind of a red flag. Like, we need to investigate this. So I went through and I watched the tape against Florida State, against Stanford, and against Louisville. And there are 2 game plans that kind of worry me, where I'm looking at it, I'm like, why is this guy not finishing, not producing at the rate he was the rest of the schedule? Stanford, man, I tell you what, they had a great game plan for this Miami defense. They got the ball out quickly, neutralizes the pass rush if the ball's coming out immediately. It didn't always work because Stanford has like 3 good football players. So it wasn't. Ole
Miss did that.
Yeah. So like, that's a way to neutralize them. So you kind of think like, all right, well, our NFL team's going to see it and just dink and dunk. And also, like, half of the league right now is this McVay-Shanahan system that's predicated on timing, the ball coming out quickly, that sort of thing. So it kind of plants that question. But more concerning for me was the Louisville game. And I think I've brought it up on 3HL before because Don knew the tackles were experienced. They were good players. They were aggressive out of their stance. And they did a good job of really taking the rep to Bain. And what I mean by that is, like, the ball is snapped, they're up on their feet, they are closing the gap, they are initiating contact, they're knocking him off balance before he can really build up a head of steam and get into his pass rush. So you think about NFL tackles watching that, they're saying, all right, this ain't the ACC, brother. Like, we're going to get out there and we're going to knock you off your point. And if you can't recover, well, you're just completely ineffective. So that kind of worries me watching his tape through that stretch. And that, to me,
this is really interesting because I have heard one little pushback on him being like, when the stage is brightest, that's when he's at his best.
Yeah.
But you're going deeper than that with it. You're going more of a systematic thing.
Yeah. So I think that, to me, is the big question that the Titans are going to have to really drill down. It's like, why did he disappear for 2 months during the season? Now, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, it's an effort thing, oh, he's loafing or anything like that. I'm just saying there's something there to investigate. You've got to figure out what it is. Like, you know, he wears these giant arm braces. I mean, maybe he's battling through an injury out there or something that's kind of slowing him down. It could be something like his coach is telling him, you know what? We hear Robert Saleh say all gas, no brakes. Maybe they're telling Ruben Bain, how about a little less gas and maybe some brakes? Like, maybe you need to slow yourself down because you're going to blow yourself up if you're playing at this rate for 17 games or whatever they end up playing. Maybe it's a situation where, hey, you don't have to prove yourself against Stanford and Louisville and Florida State. We need you for the Texas A&M, the Ohio State, the Ole Misses. Like, it could be something like that. I wouldn't venture a guess because I haven't had a chance to talk to Ruben Bain. Probably won't get a chance to talk to Ruben Bain, but the Titans will, and I think it's a glaring issue on his total body of work that you've got to drill down and figure out, because if you get that guy, well, that's an ineffective use of the 4th overall pick. But if you get the guy that played against Texas A&M, who, mind you, has 4 dudes on their offensive line in this draft class, talented offensive line. Ole Miss has a guy in this draft class on the offensive line. Ohio State has a guy in this draft class from the offensive line. And Indiana does as well. Like, against the best competition, he put on his best tape. So if that's the guy you get, this dude's a force. This guy can be a game wrecker, especially when you factor in putting him next to Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat.
I wonder sometimes with guys, I have no idea, but some guys are so competitive that maybe, like, they know where they're going to end. Like, the goal is to end up in the NFL. He knows he's going to be a first-round pick, all those things, and then maybe they get bored.
Yeah. Well,
in some cases. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know that kind of stuff happens. It sounds kind of silly, but we've heard examples of guys that have said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything but hurt my draft stock this season, so I'm not going to play. And we've seen guys that, like, we're having the conversation about Jermod McCoy, that missed all of 2025. Well, the rumblings out there are that both parties agreed he could have played in November, but he didn't. So, you know, that kind of thing happens sometimes. And I think it's on the Titans to do their due diligence and figure out why that happened with Bain.
Ruben Bain met with the media today. He talked about cut number 26. He talked about his mindset in the playoffs with Miami, to your point.
My mindset was that I can control the game. I can make a play every play, each play. My effort going to determine how the outcomes of the games is. And I came in with the mindset just to kill all mentality because it's a playoffs. Win or go home. And if you check my track record in the playoffs, that's my best football of my life.
Noticed a couple of reps where, and this goes on all the time with like average guys out there, but they did it with Bain a couple of times where they would run left and leave him unblocked, thinking he has no chance to get over there. Like it's not a blockable rep, and he would go make the tackle. I mean, it's just crazy the effort level that he presents sometimes.
The best of his tape,
Most
like
times.
he does it all. And I know like people have been critical, like, well, what about the speed and the bend? I don't know. I'm going to need to see a play that you're referencing where he's not that, because he's like Superman. I mean, he can do anything. Like the bend, the power, the hand usage, like it's all there. He is the total package, and he is a guy that has the ability to completely wreck a game if you let him. One thing I wanted to bring up, those two games that I mentioned earlier, the Louisville and the Stanford games that seem to have pretty good game plans or plans of attack on that Miami pass rush. Bain's stat line in each of those games was one tackle. That's all he had. One tackle against Stanford, one tackle against Louisville. So just saying, I'm just throwing it out there.
I love it. Well, let's go ahead and do this, F. Let's do, we have two giveaways to do before the end of the show, so let's do one now. It is Winning Wednesday on 104.5 The Zone with Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball as it comes to Nashville Municipal Auditorium for Season 5 now through March 1st. See the final games this weekend that feature top talent on the court, including Alicia Clark, Tina Charles, and many more. Go to auprobasketball.com to learn more. AU Pro Basketball, our court, our game. Be caller number 5 now to win 2 tickets to games 23 and 24 this Sunday at Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Babs went last year. She said, and she actually worked it. She said it was an incredible experience, great for kids. So keep that in mind. 615-737-1045. That's 615-737-1045. I know you've got two guys that you want to talk about if they don't go the direction of those three.
Yeah.
That you like at 4. Give me one now, and then we'll do one when we come back from break. So give me one now. Who you got?
Jeremiah Love.
Running back. That's who Rhett Bryan said earlier today.
Yeah.
I love Love.
Well, listen, Rhett's a smart man.
Yeah. What do you think about Love? What do you like about him?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to break. So
No,
I was like,
good.
I'm gonna let Brent do his thing and get us out of here. Jeremiah Love is as clean and elite of a prospect as I've watched in some time, at least since Bijan Robinson. And I think you can make a case that he might be better than Bijan Robinson. You talk about a guy that you put on his tape and you have trouble finding weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Love was that guy for me. Like, he has the production. He has the ability to be the bell cow. His ability to kind of navigate traffic. Like, he can shrink through the hole when he needs to get between guys. He can run through a hole when there's a lane for him, and he's got a spin move when he needs to evade a guy. My comp for him is like what happens when you eat the star in Super Mario. That's Jeremiah Love. When he gets a lane, he can accelerate. Like, there is a second gear down the field. He has the ability as a pass catcher as well. He's dynamic, really clean evaluation of him. And when I look at it, I know running back would be a luxury pick, but it comes down to questions at 4th overall for me. And so when I look at a guy like Mansour Delane, and thankfully Don's not here to swing on me for saying corner at 4. Mansour Delane.
You were the first to tell us that. There have now been 3 people tell us
Really?
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I look at Caleb Downs, who I think Caleb Downs is probably the best player in this draft. But
Jeremiah Love second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you get to the roster engineering part of it, it's a really deep safety class. It's a really deep cornerback class. So you could probably get impact guys if you need them at those positions on day 2, maybe even day 3. There are a few day 3 guys that I really like at those positions. But with running back, Jeremiah Love is in a class of his own. And I know there are people that like Jonah Coleman out of Washington and Jadarian Price at Notre Dame. I get it. I'm a fan of like Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas. But to me, like those guys look more like role players and committee bags. So if you're looking for a guy that can be a dynamic spark plug on your offense, that you can add a real weapon around Cam Ward, to me, you're either overdrafting a wide receiver that has question marks, like a Jordan Tyson in the medicals, Carnell Tate, and Mekhi Lemon, all have their questions. Or you can go with a guy like Jeremiah Love that you know is a star in the making. Like, this guy is going to make the offense better. And then, you know what? So what? Like, is it so bad to have Jeremiah Love and Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears? I mean, maybe even that it presents a sort of trade value for one of those guys. You can move them for a draft pick. Like, it's not the end of the world. I get it. It's a luxury pick, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they end up with Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, and I know running back is a devalued position, but he just feels like he's going to be one of the 3 or 4 best here in a couple years. Some people, maybe even next year.
Yeah, some people think he's going to be like Christian McCaffrey. And if that's the case, the receiving aspect of it, like, that's something the Titans need still. So I understand the hesitations, but I also still think this team is still far enough away from being like a truly deep and competitive roster that I do still think it's at the stage where you just add good players.
Man, it would help a young quarterback, that's for sure. Mike Borgonzi talked with the media today, and one of the things he did was evaluate Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, anytime you can get a running back like that, especially a 3-down running back that can play in the pass game as well, and be able to take over a game. You've seen guys in the league now that can do that. I think Gibbs is an example in Detroit that can run in between the tackles. He can, he's a game changer, and you can line him up outside. You can use him as a receiver, and I think this guy in the draft, Jeremiah, does that as well. Yeah.
Charlotte said the same thing about Love. You mentioned Gibbs. TD. Kind of somebody you see him being kind of in that mode.
Well, I think it's the speed and the ability to play on 3 downs. What you see with those players, and they're tough.
A pass pro is something I didn't mention either. Like, he's got good reps on tape.
He's so physical and fast and has moves, as you mentioned. When we come back, we'll get Stoney's second player that he wants to mention. Potentially at 4. Also, your chance to win 2 tickets to see the United States women's national team take on Argentina at Geodes Park for the She Believes Cup. That's coming up. Stay tuned. 3HL 104.5 The Zone.
What's happening, good people? MedicalHouseCalls.com. This is healthcare designed for your life. You're wondering, you're sitting there, you're thinking, how can I get the feeling back the way I want to if I get this little flu that's going around? What is it, flu type 2 or A or B or C? Whatever it is, they can get you back feeling right, man. You got the IV therapy at your fingertips. Home urgent care. You also have primary health care. All of it 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The number that you hit up, 615-838-2375. You can call or text that number, 615-838-2375. You call or text Medical House Calls. They assess what you need within minutes. They book your visit and schedule it right then and there. Maybe can make it over that day, but for sure they're getting there the next day. They'll be at your door to deliver your care that gets you back ASAP. I did the mobile IV therapy, needed to get on the flight the next day. It was boom, bam, bip, and I was back feeling right. Trust and believe in it. I'm telling you, medicalhousecalls.com.
Oh, look, it's that time again. Hey, you on my mind again. World class international. Tell them meet me in Nashville. And it's not up for discussion, just a lot of walking buckets. One player get that medal. 4 weeks, it's all or nothing. We made the rules that we play right now. Give me the ball in my hand right now. Tell them to keep it a band right now. I think we hot in demand right now. Yeah, rise to the challenge, never ran from them. The roster filled with champions. The music speakers tell them this is our court, our game. Our court, our game. Our court, our game. Our court, our game.
HL 104.5 The Zone, Brent Doherty, Stoney Keeley in studio. All right, you gave Jeremiah Love as one of your other players outside the three everybody's talking about for pick number 4. You're going to give another one in just a second. But first, it is Winning Wednesday. Another chance for you to win tickets from Babs' Prize Closet right now. Be caller number 5 now to win 2 tickets to see the United States women's national team take on Argentina at Geodis Park for the She Believes Cup. 615-737-1045. There you go. All right, who is player number 2? You mentioned Jeremiah Love, in addition to the 3 edge rusher, defensive lineman, linebackers we've all talked about. Who's the next guy?
I'm going to go with Sonny Styles, the linebacker out of Ohio State. I think this is a guy that is the prototype for what a modern linebacker looks like. I think he's got speed in pursuit. I think he's a good flat defender. He can defend the hook and curl, middle of the field, wherever you line him up. This guy is fluid. He has range. He's a solid tackler. I even think there's a little bit of pass rush juice with him. Like something we talked a lot about Arvell Reese is that he had a lot of linebacker reps where he's walking up to the line and the opposing offenses don't really know, is this guy going to blitz? Is he going to rush? Is he going to drop into coverage? That sort of thing. And I think Sonny Styles does a lot of that stuff as well. I just don't think he has the length necessarily that Arvell Reese has, and I don't think he has any sort of reps, hand in the dirt, one-on-one with an offensive tackle, that sort of thing. So I do think he's just a linebacker, and I think that's kind of what separates the two. And you and I were talking a second ago off air about like the devaluation of the inside linebacker position as well. It's like it's not a premium position, so you don't really think about that at 4th overall, but this is a blue chip guy. And I think there's a possibility that they could need a linebacker like him, because if you look at what Cedric Gray and Cody Barton do well, it's like downhill run defending. And Robert Saleh's defenses, his best defenses, have had a guy that he could put in the middle of the field. He could play off the ball, had sideline to sideline range, could do a little bit of everything. And I don't know that Barton or Gray are necessarily those guys. With Gray, maybe it's something he could develop into, but I certainly think there's a window for a guy like Sonny Styles under Robert Saleh. I mean, how many times did we see offenses last year, like the offensive line holds off the pass rush long enough for the ball to come out, and when it does, there's nobody in the middle of the field. They make a chunk play against the Titans defense. Like, it's still a part of the game that needs to be addressed. So that's why I do kind of think like this rangy linebacker prototype is still something that the Titans could use on their defense. Now, we don't have to get into all this now because I know we're about to wrap up here and all that, but like a guy like Jake Golday out of Cincinnati, a guy like Kyle Lewis out of Pittsburgh, like there are options in this draft to fill that need, but I think if you get Sonny Styles, you're talking about a blue chip player that I don't have many questions about how he translates to the next level. So that's what it is for me. It's like, do you take the need that you might have questions about, or do you just take the bona fide blue chip guy?
Ramon Foster loves that guy.
I mean, Ramon Foster's a smart man too.
There's something to be said too for the guy that's like, yeah, I'm a linebacker. This is what I am.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be an edge guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you watch his tape, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, I'm watching the Indiana tape from the Big Ten championship, trying to get notes on Fernando Mendoza and those wide receivers and those running backs, and I just catch myself like paying attention to where number 0 is on defense all the time. He's just that kind of prospect where like you put on the tape and it's like magnetizing. You can't look away.
Zeph, do we have time to play what Sam Brookhouse, Sumer Sports analytics guy, said about this player, Sonny Styles, on our show yesterday? All right, let's do it.
He's an absolute beast. And I think what I've learned here is that people are substantially higher on him within the linebacker position than I previously expected. I thought there was going to be kind of a flavor of the month aspect at the linebacker position for people who like C.J. Allen, who potentially like Jacob Rodriguez a little later on in the draft of Texas Tech. But it seems like the consensus is that Sonny Styles is not only the best linebacker in this draft, but is potentially one of the best players in this draft. One of the words that has kept coming up, in particular from guys like Mike Renner of CBS Sports, has been that this is a strong draft in weak positions. And I think that encapsulates Jeremiah Love, that encapsulates Caleb Downs, another Ohio State player, and encapsulates Sonny Styles as well. I think people, as the draft season goes on and as teams continue to evaluate, I think he will be considered like the 4th or 5th best guy on big boards. I would not be surprised. But the problem is he plays that linebacker position.
That's right.
And I think when you look at the data, it's really hard to predict linebackers. And moreover, there is a cliff in which linebackers can be the entire defense. I'm talking about guys like Fred Warner, for example. Roquan Smith is another guy like that. But then you just take a step further. Jordan Brooks, who was an all-pro this year, he technically has not had the same impact that Fred Warner has had year over year, or even that a Demario Davis has had year over year. So I think there's a real cliff in the linebackers who are true defensive, world beaters and just a good linebacker. And I think it's really hard to predict who that is. And that's why I think it's really risky to take a linebacker like Sonny Styles in the first round.
I mean, that's good analysis right there.
I love it. I love getting as many opinions about all of these guys as I possibly can, and I know you love it so much.
Yeah, this class is really interesting because I think if you did a top 5 based on tape alone, who's the best player, and you did a top 5 considering positional value, you might have 2 completely different top 5s in this draft class.
3HL bingo card, I think it's Ruben Bain at 4 currently. That's Rhett Bryan earlier from Titans Radio. He loves the Jeremiah Love idea as well. He went on and on about that. Thank you very much for coming in, man.
Anytime, Brent. I'm honored to be here. I've spoken about my love for this show for many, many years. It's an honor every time I get to come sit in this chair.
That means a lot to me.
Stoney and I will be handling cover 2 duties.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. 1 to 3 tomorrow.
1 to 3.
So you can get Stoney there. Football and other F words with Zach Lyons as well with Stoney Keeley. Appreciate Mark Mariani for coming in, Rhett Bryan for hopping on, Todd Furman for hopping on, and you guys for listening. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much for including us in your day and in your lives. We do not take that for granted, nor do we take that lightly. 3HL, Organized Chaos. Hopefully we were able to put a smile on your face. Threw a lot of information out at you in opinion today. So hope you have a great night. Good night. God bless.
See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya unless you're a shout out to the one and only birthday girl, Dawn Davenport. Happy birthday, Babsy.